Yo, yes. How's that?
Got audio
Okay,
now.
here. Let's see. Let's see if everybody can hear yet. Here, okay. I'll just wait for the chat. Wait for the chat. See what I mean? This was a throw together. Yay! Okay, there we go. Oh, Mania says it's better, and we got to trust her judgment because she actually knows what the fuck she's talking about. So, 1 second here, everybody. I was drinking, and that was a burp you didn't want to fucking hear. So, tonight, let me try this again. We are going with a special Shills episode, our own steaming cup of reason within the last, 30 minutes threw this shit together in OBS. We have no idea how this is going to go. This was a complete throw together, but Validation Boy pulled some bullshit, a response to the iNetwork, which is our channel name now, and the Uncalled For specifically. And he's tossing some serious fucking bullshit. So we are here tonight to throw the final smackdown on the piece of human fucking shit that is Validation Boy. So tonight's video isn't actually a video because he put up a black screen with just a bunch of ranting and raving in the background. So we're just going to hold the set the way we do. We're going to play his bullshit, and we're going to respond to it the way that the Shills do. And it's full on attack, full on assault. That is fucking that. So let's get around the room, see who we got here, and who is ready, set, and loaded for bear, because this is going to be some serious shit. And from the Uncalled For, Resident Shill, Glober Mom, how you doing, honey? What's happening? I bet you're ready and loaded for this. Really? Come on, Mom. You're going to leave me hanging?
She's not that ready for it after all.
Yeah. Monkey, go. Yeah, come on, Monkey, give her.
Fucking hell. Well, we got to do this, haven't we? I can't stand this little penis, so I'm looking forward to, whipping his ass and throw some fucking shit in his general direction. He's a knob, so let's just tell the world what a knob he really is. I'll tell you what I'll do while I'm at it. I'll have a quick shout out. There's a few people already here, isn't there? So fucking why not do it now, Mr. Serious is in the house. Mr. Victory failed at engineering. My good friend DJ Cybernetic is also watching, and of course Punchy is here. The real non sequitur. Jen Morgan, everyone's favourite sexy nanny. Me Pet 69, TD Lane, Nikki Daly, 9 o'clock hero, your pal out, and quit asking me to sprinkle them fucking titties as well.
All right.
Done.
That's one hell. That's one hell of an intro. That's one hell of an intro. And let's take it over right from the realm of outer space to Kevin Kennedy himself. How's it going, buddy?
Oh boy, I'm a little riled up. I won't lie. I listened to VD Boy's little stream while we were getting set up here, and that sad little boy is just very confused. That's all it is. He's very confused about what criticism is and what this group of people actually stands for. So he's going to get a little bit of a lesson tonight because he has this strange idea that we're some kind of hive mind, and we're not. So I'm going to put a stop to that nonsense today.
Oh, I love it. I love it. There is so much to go at with this guy. This is going to be some unreal stuff. Absolutely. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. And let's see here. Let's see. Oh, my list went away. I'm sorry, guys. We're really, really out of our normal routine here because this was a throw together, right? So, Ilya Moon, I know you've got a lot to say about this fucking guy. How's it going your way, honey?
Hey, I am ready to steamroll this jackass. I am ready to put him in his place, and I'm ready to put him behind me because he's not worth my energy after tonight. No more. He gets none of it.
Exactly. That's why we're doing the final SmackDown. This is the end, right?
Yep.
I can't wait.
I completely understand. He came for the wrong things with me. That's all I'm going to say for now. But
yeah,
there's a way to piss me off and a way to not piss me off. And the way he came for me actually really pissed me off. So.
Well, I can't wait to hear it be let off the chain. And speaking of let off the chain, a man who we only let off the chain when he comes out of Cave Town and enters the lair, we've got the logical Troglodyte. And I'm sure you're gonna really rip some good stuff for us tonight, brother.
Oh, hey, how's everybody doing? Yeah, Fred Sabletooth has been sharpening his claws all day. Gracie Crinklesaurus just got done flossing her teeth. And I have my club completely shined and ready to go, looking for an orifice to stick it in.
Right on. Now, you're the kind of guy who really gets into a person's head. So you've listened and watched some Validation Boy stuff, and I'm sure that the gun is loaded. You really know where you're going, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I have several magazines locked and loaded, ready to go. We have guided logic missiles and and idiot bombs and everything else just locked and loaded, waiting for the tracking system to lock on target.
Awesome. Can't wait, man. Right on. And because the uncalled for were specifically called out, there was no way we were missing Resident-in-Chief, second-generation YouTuber, Psystrikeling. All right, you must be fired up too, right?
I am, Dick. I'm definitely excited to be here and to give one last go at Validation Boy, because he has definitely pushed the wrong buttons for sure.
Yeah, it's time to put the nails in the coffin and be done with it. So I'm hoping you have some very sharp nails.
Definitely.
All right. And Glober Mama, you there now? We all good to go? How's it going? She's still not unmuting. There we go.
I'm unmuted now. I was in a different screen. Hey, I'm here. Yes, I'm ready to kick some Validation Boy ass after his video and his replies to me in his comment section today. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And after this,
there's
no more of that idiot.
Yeah, there comes a time and a place when you got to shut it down, and this is going to be that. But we're going to lay it on the line tonight. Absolutely.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. And Resident-in-Chief, Showrunner Supreme, Aimee Hogan. How's it going your way, honey?
It's going very well. I'm ready to kick this lump to the curb and just be done with this piece of shit. He's said enough. He's made some serious accusations that I want to address tonight too as well. So I think this will be good, even though he backed off some of them. But I'm ready. I'm ready to kick his ass, and I'm also ready to read two super chats that we got tonight. Thank you so much, everyone. Resident Instance for $5 says VB's personal anthem song is "I'm So Rory," Team America World Police. I love that one. And then Christ Puncher for Canadian $5 says VD Boy is jealous of our girly long hair at Dick Dawson, and I think he's right. So thank you both for your support tonight. Thank you.
Oh, Punchy, you're right. Totally. He just wishes he was you and me, brother. Absolutely.
There was a second super chat from Punchy as well.
Oh,
there was. Okay.
Serve it up, Kevin.
Yeah, it was for a Canadian $2, and he said, "Is it just me, or does Ilya sound real sexy?"
Aw, listen to him.
God, Punchy, keep it in your pants until the show is over, please.
No, not in public.
Yeah, at least it's not on Facebook, so that's okay. So
that was good. That was good.
Yeah. So let's go around the room before we start the video or the audio, actually, because it is not a video. But everybody on this panel has, a memory, an interaction with Validation Boy that is pretty much on a personal level. So I'm thinking, logical Troglodyte, why don't you come in and size up the human being that is Validation Boy for us before we dive in to the anal hole that is his psyche.
Well, I'll be cutting in with that off and on throughout the evening, but first I want to preface this with anything that I am about to say in the realm of psychology or clinical counseling is not meant to diagnose, offer services to, or treat any individuals I may be addressing. This is my opinion based on my education, training, and years of experience in the field. So when I use words like narcissism or things like that, I'm not making a diagnosis. I'm talking about traits that a person is exhibiting that I am noticing. And I notice with Validation Boy that he likes to bark like he's a big dog. He likes to hide the men's comments in his section, in his comments section, especially when it's people like me that's challenging him to a live debate, because he doesn't want his viewers to see that he has been challenged. He has a very fragile ego, from what I can tell, and doesn't like to be challenged and cannot handle being insulted in any way. He seems to prefer to attack and address women. When directly challenged by a man, he just can't handle it. It's all about him and him being a victim and a martyr and attacked. He seems to think that the First Amendment and free speech is all for him and not for anybody else. And he doesn't seem to realize that, hey, this is a two-way street, asswipe. If you're going to make a public statement, you may as well expect a public response. And I'll leave it go at that, and I'll revisit this topic as we go along with his statements.
Oh, awesome. That's a good one. That's a good one. Now, guys, we have a few people in the chat that would probably like to join the panel. So what I'm thinking is, as the show goes, why don't we just start handing out the link to a couple of people? Right? We'll build the team as we go and let everybody because I know that I know a couple of people right now in the chat would like to have a sound off, and we can only have so many people on the panel properly, but we could bring a few people in just to have their say, right? That would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I've already
that's a good
noted
idea,
that Sean Hubbard is saying he just had to leave the room where Strikeling is sitting because he didn't want to interrupt the stream with his beacon off. But hey, let her rip, Sean. I know you got a lot of shit to say.
Yeah.
As we watched Validation Boy's videos together, he had quite a few choice words. So.
Well, I mean, let's face it, everyone's got choice words on this fucking bell end.
Very true.
Yes, of course.
Strikeling, why don't you get Sean in the room and let him sound off here? Let's get Hufford in.
I'll see what I can do. Give me a sec.
All right, and Amy's up here, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Christ Puncher gave us another Canadian $2, and he says, "Love you guys. Thank you, Punchy. We love you too."
Punchy, thank you for giving us your money.
Yeah, and Punchy, if you give us just a little bit more, we'll give you the link too. I'm just kidding. Well, I was trying to play on that thing that Uni was saying, where something to do with Steve's channel, and if you didn't pay to be a member, you weren't allowed to, or I don't remember what it was.
Something?
Yeah, it was some bullshit, Mom. Mom, you remember that one?
Dick, I thought you were doing the FTFE
yeah.
thing where if a flat earther super chats and says the earth is flat, he'll just say something like, "I'm sorry, I don't think we understood that. Could you super chat that again?"
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So with Validation Boy, let's get on topic here. Number one, we all know, sitting at this panel right now and talking, that he is a vile piece of human trash that was literally sucked from the anal of society using a shop vac, and you found him in the pit, laying there in the water and everything, and you're like, holy fuck, that's pathetic. But he actually does get some viewers. Now, how? Yeah, exactly, Chris. Who cares? I love it, buddy. But with Validation Boy, how does somebody with his vile, despicable attitude actually get anyone to watch? Like, even P. Mars, how could he watch that?
Well, it's easy. All you have to do is also be a vile piece of shit.
Like Demar.
Just as simple as that, exactly.
Easy. It's easy.
I suppose that's good. Logical's got something.
Yeah, it's pretty much what Kevin said. That your like minds are going to attract like minds, and when you are exhibiting behaviors that are misogynistic, narcissistic, and in general just vile puke bags, then that is the type of person that you are going to attract to your channel. And I'm sorry to say, but there's plenty of them out there. Before the stream today, I was doing a lot of thinking about Validation Boy and what psychological theory would actually fit his behavior pattern. And one of the ones I came up with was social comparison theory. For the lay people out there in the live chat, you can kind of sum that up with when you compare your insides, basically what's going on inside your head, to somebody else's outsides. So you're looking at somebody else being successful, and in your head your brain is telling you, I'm not successful. However you define success, you're not meeting it. You have a high dissatisfaction with your life, and you're bummed out. But what a lot of well-adjusted people will do, they will do something to meet their level of success. Self-educate, go back to college, work harder, apply for better jobs, whatever. But no, idiots like Validation Boy, they want to take the easy route. They want to sit in their mama's basement. They want to cry in their beer about, oh, they're keeping me down. That's why he was going after the women. That's why he's going after the Asperger's people. That's why he goes after the people that are disabled. And he uses that phrase, it's almost like they have a cheat code in life, because that exempts him from actually, working toward his own success. That absolves him from any freaking responsibility for his own life, because it's all them and it's all their fault. So anyway, I can rant about this for hours, but it's time for me to shut up and let somebody else rant.
Oh, I don't know. That was really, really good, dude. That was awesome. Kevin, you analyze somebody, especially with the writer's background, and him doing the double script trip. Now, I've heard that he used that same script again. So, give us your analysis of the human mind that uses the same script to attack different groups the way he does.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I can offer a proper psychological point of view like Logical does, but I mean, he talked about that, right? And he tried to play it off as our artistic license and say he was doing a thing, basically. And it didn't really check out, especially because he got so pissy about it. He kept saying, did you never even consider, Dead Kennedy, that it was an artistic choice? You fucking stupid idiot. And it's like, why are you so mad, dude? So I made a mistake. Why are you so mad? It just tells me that it wasn't a mistake, that he didn't do this as an artistic choice, that he did it to get cheap views.
That's right, because it can't be an artistic choice. That's like designing a car and then 5 years later designing another car, and all you do is change the fucking license plate and call it a new car. Well, that's not how it works.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing really artistic about repeating the same script. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
I understand I've been summoned.
Hey!
The voice is here.
We got Sean Hufford on the panel. All right, Sean. Validation Boy, give us some. It's your floor.
Okay, now Validation Boy's been around for a long time. I remember him back from early Flat Earth days. Never really interacted with him, but never paid attention to him either because he's just been so off the wall. But over the last couple of days, I've been seeing some of this stuff because Cy Striking has been going over some of the stuff, and oh my god, I haven't seen so much stupid flow from somebody since I actually started dealing with Riley. Oh, it's harsh. I mean, this guy is either the world's greatest Poe or the world's dumbest idiot. I'm still coming up with a decision on that one.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. There's a lot of Poe in it, like reusing scripts and stuff, but at the same time, there's a certain attitude in the man, in the background, underneath it all, that really does lead you to believe that he's actually buying this shit. It's there, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't help when he gets validation, for lack of a better term, from some of the people I see going through his live chats, and just the names that I'm seeing that he's praising says a lot about the guy, which is why I'm leading to troll/Poe. But he does definitely go way overboard and crosses a lot of lines.
Oh yeah. Holy, as we're gonna hear, because he's doing a response to us, and you know us, Sean. Like we don't hold back. We tear a man up when he deserves it. So his response to us is gonna be really bad. Should be awful. I can't wait. So what do you guys think? Should we? We've got one more guest about to join us here. I'm doing something in the background. It's this is going to be a good surprise. So we're just going to wait for somebody, and then we're going to kick in with the audio.
In the meantime, can I do this super chat that I was buzzed in for?
Oh yes, yes.
Thank you.
Really? Oops, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Res Instance for Australian $2 says P Mars is VB's front running fan. That says a lot, and it does. Thank you so much, Res, for your support.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid using some names, but there's some others along the same lines that he runs with that really stood out when I was actually going over his live chats.
Yes, exactly. And we just got a second one from Jenny Morgan for $1.99 American dollars. She says Invalid Boy is an immature incel. Yep, he is. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Mr. Dawson?
Jeff, check your other desktop because we might have one other person.
I'm on it.
Perfect. And then we'll get to the audio here. It's not a video tonight. It's one of those things, you know.
Actually, while we're waiting on that other guest, I thought I might want to address the idea of whether or not Validation Boy is a Pope. One of the things in my course of education and training that I had to achieve some mastery in is body language and facial expressions when I'm listening to people. And he may or may not be a Pope when it comes to his flat earth stuff. When it comes to his socio-political, mental health / medical viewpoints, when I watch his facial expressions on his videos and his body language, he, in my opinion, truly believes the things he's saying. And when he is attacked, his facial expressions and body languages is telling me he is truly working through a lot of hurt feelings about it. He just can't blow it off. You call me an SOB, I'm not going to care, whatever. I might even agree with you. But he is working through a lot of hurt feelings on some of his videos when he's addressing us. And it's pretty interesting to watch.
Very much. Good call, man. And our last guest not our last guest, because we're going to bring a few people on as we go too, but we've got Plannerwalk with us. Plannerwalk, how's it going? Buddy, we're attacking Validation Boy tonight, and it's the big one. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. In lockdown, because that's something that I need to make sure I do so that I don't get the coronavirus. That's assuming that I don't have the coronavirus already, though.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody's doing a lot of self-isolation, but a lot of us YouTubers, let's face it, we kind of lived a life of self-isolation anyway. So for me, it wasn't that big a change, to be honest.
True. And yeah, I heard you're attacking going after Validation Boy.
Yes. Yeah, well, we've had a little back and forth with him lately. We got a new show on the channel, The Uncalled For, where the girls do a Shills-like attack on people, and they've had a back and forth with him, and he got really nasty. We're about to play the audio. There's no video to it. It's just an audio clip, and we're going to tear into him. So you got perfect timing, because you're right on time.
Cool. I haven't heard from him in a while. I think he kind of stopped coming around to my streams because there was a point where he was coming to all my streams and typing in the chat. And when I saw that, I'd think, okay, maybe he's going to be, talking about me in his live stream. So I'd just have a quick check to see what was going on there. But I noticed that when I stopped doing that, I was like, I'm not going to give this guy any more attention. He stopped coming into my streams, so I think I know what was going on there.
Yeah, he's looking for some traction. He's looking for coattails, right? For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why we're doing the final thing. Like, there's no back and forth with us after this. Tonight's the night. So, and this, we, myself, I think most of the panel, we haven't gone into this knowing what he's about to say. I think a few people watched a bit of it, but not much. So this should be, shocking. Yes, shocking is the word. This should be shocking.
Okay.
So what do you guys think? Shall we play a little bit of Validation Boy? Are we all set and ready?
Spin that disc.
Please.
Do this shit. I am dancing like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, as you say, DJ, kick
Let's
that
go
shit.
for this. Let's do it.
All right.
All
Float like a
right.
butterfly, sting like a bee. There you go.
That's right.
Let's
Yes.
see this.
All right, Jeff.
Piece of shit.
Yeah,
has to
and
say.
everybody, while this is playing, we got to mute because they can hear us just as loud as Validation Boy. So we want them to hear it, right?
All right.
Right.
Okay, here we go. VD boy.
All right.
All right, everyone. This is an open letter to the EIE network and the uncalled for. Let me give you guys a little timeline. Validation Boy was existing in the world, making videos, questioning things. No big deal. And I get swarmed by a group of people that I don't even know exist. And they swarm me with threats of physical violence and talk all this shit about raping my asshole with, animals and baseball bats and body parts and all this. And
We're paused.
I'm not really even worried.
All right. Ilya's up.
I'm going to need a citation on where any of us have threatened physical violence against you, Validation Boy, because I don't recall, especially on the uncalled for, ever wishing you physical violence.
I can give some context to that. He thinks Dick making jokes is threats.
Yeah. Like
The whole
I
sodomy jokes and everything, right?
Yeah, I think I joked about, stuffing a live rhinoceros in a body cocoon up his ass. And I think I also did the joke about, I don't know what the strap on was like, but his mother was really rough on him and a few things. But, obviously just picking on a, worthless sack of shit. So yeah, talk about playing the victim card here. Holy fuck, buddy.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to
joke
just
is
throw a
not-
massive turd at him.
Yeah.
A
Here's
joke
my question.
doesn't equate to a credible threat of physical violence.
That's right. Exactly. Not even close.
Yeah, threatening to face fuck somebody with a dead squirrel is not the same thing as saying, I'm going to kick your ass.
Can he also not figure out when the threats are completely unrealistic that they're meant to be comical?
Yes, right?
It's like when Mortal Kombat came out in the 90s and parents got scared that kids were going to start ripping other kids' spines out.
I don't think it's actually possible to fuck somebody up the ass with a live badger.
Yeah. Glober Mom's got some there.
I was going to say one thing I found out about Validation Boy and through all this is, especially with this latest thing with Boole, he does this on purpose to make him look like the as I call him, the paragon of virtue. Like you say, victim status. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He uses it to garner support.
Yeah, it's like the first drawn tarot card, right? Victim. And he just loves it. Oh, he loves it.
Yep, and he plays it to the hilt.
Can I point out, he hasn't really gone into it yet, but he has a really big problem with left-wing politics. And one of the problems he has with left-wing politics is victim mentality, which he is completely fucking guilty of.
Yes, that's how he lives, man. Aimeen's got some stuff from the audience for us here.
Yes, actually, I have a super chat, please. Res Instance for Australian $5 says, can you play it at 1.5 times speed in order to make it 33% less of a pain, please? Illuminati confirmed. Thank you so much, Res. And he does. He's so, thank you, yes. And he's so not aware of himself at all. He calls everybody else snowflakes, yet he does the exact same thing that he thinks snowflakes do.
What was funny is I was talking to Cy Striking the other day when I actually heard the bits and pieces of this one. I was actually threatening to take his video and cut out all of the long pauses just to see how short his video actually ends up being when he doesn't take forever between words.
Yes.
I bet you chopped half the video out at least, right?
Well, I didn't actually do it, but I so want to do that just to see how much his video shrinks.
Sean?
Yes?
I did that with a CC video, and CC's pauses were half the freaking video. So this guy's is probably the same.
It's like when you take out all the slow-mo out of Zack Snyder's 300 and suddenly it's a half hour shorter.
Yeah, exactly, right? Planner Wax got something for us.
Yeah, so I just want to say something about that super chat. Problem is if you put it at 1.5 times speed, it wouldn't make it less painful. It would make it more painful because you got to listen to his voice for longer. Oh wait, is he saying it's faster?
It would be faster.
Oh, okay.
Because he sounds like a little bit of a chipmunk too.
My bad. I misunderstood the.
Yeah, not half speed. 1.5 speed. Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
And
yeah,
we have Jenny Morgan
I do have
in the
a question
house.
though.
Oh, is that steaming?
We have Jenny Morgan in the house.
Oh yeah, right on.
Hey,
Cool. Hey Jen, how's it going?
Oh, not so bad. How are all you guys?
Ah, good.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, Miss Jen.
Hi, Amy. Hi.
Hello. Rocking.
All right. So what do you guys think? A tiny bit of audio get us back into the swing of things?
Yeah, play some more of that dog shit.
All right.
Play that funky music, white boy.
Here comes the audio stink.
Worried about that, I know that they wouldn't do those things to me in real life. And, they really would have no reason to actually do those things to me in real life. So that's not something that, I take all that seriously, those threats of violence. That's just a lot of huffing and puffing. But they're allowed to get away with it. I'm not going to cancel culture them. They've had, I think, one of my videos taken down. It doesn't really matter.
Pause.
They're the cancel culture.
Yeah, pause.
Citation fucking needed. If one of your videos was taken down, you need to know who reported it and whether or not they're associated with us before you make that claim.
Oh, all I wanted to say was, what? We only managed to get one of your fucking videos taken down. Personally, I'd like to get your whole channel taken down because it's full of absolute bollocks.
Yeah, then when I heard him say that earlier this afternoon, I looked at his video library. I didn't notice anything missing that I hadn't noticed already being there before. So I'd like to know which video he's referring to.
Well, I just want to point out the simple fact that he just contradicted himself by saying, I know all these things they're saying about me they'll never actually do, but I take that as an actual threat. How can you take it as a threat if you know they're not going to do it?
Yeah, that was a little contradictory, wasn't it?
Just a
It
bit.
was.
It's just victim card.
Yep. Should we let him do a little bit more?
Yeah, no worries.
please.
Okay.
Also, I really quickly took a look at it. His video about female obesity is still up, and I'm going to double check because I have a feeling that if any of them were taken down, nope, his Hoax Madness video is still up. So nothing's been taken down. He's a liar.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just him poisoning the well, prepping his audience for, how nasty we truly are.
Exactly. All right, shall we run some more?
Let's do this.
Okay, audio stink on the way.
They don't like people existing that don't conform to their norms. And They come at me with a bunch of ad homs. Yeah, and I've returned tons of ad homs, but you know, they got to realize that they're the ones that started all of this. Okay. And in the Uncalled For's first show about me, they said that I was triggered because I was making a live stream response to them. Part of my live stream was dedicated to them. And thing is that they had spent hours and hours dedicated to attacking me. And all I do is simply defend myself. And I'm super calm about it too. You know, I exercise regularly. And I think it might be good for the...
Go ahead.
Okay, okay? Hours and hours, right. You also said that the Uncalled For are 7 shows in doing shows about you. Not true. We have literally done 1.5 shows about you. We broke down your live video where you literally called Aimee the whore matriarch. I was a self-proclaimed land whale with a lot of degrees that no one cared about, and called out Glober mom. We simply did the same thing you're saying you did. We called you out on your bullshit and replied. We haven't spoken about you since, little shit, until the other day, and that's because you put out another video about us. And we replied to that again. Pot, meat, fucking kettle.
Exactly.
So, first of all, 1.5 videos has been done about you because the other half of our show the other night was somebody else entirely. 2, that's not hours on hours. It's about 3 hours in total for the Uncalled For. And 4 or 3, whatever number I'm fucking on because you pissed me off so goddamn much.
Yeah.
Well, if I can chime in a little bit, Ilya, because this is really interesting. I haven't been involved with this until tonight and part of this morning when I actually got caught up on a lot of it. He made his fat shaming video, which is what it was. Just flat out it was a body shaming video.
Yep.
You guys did a reaction to that video. He then goes on to do a live stream where he does nothing but come up with new colorful nicknames for the Uncalled For. And yes, that is a triggered response. I'm sorry to say, VD, when you can do nothing but name call, that is a triggered response. So for them to say that you're triggered, they are absolutely correct. Had you actually made counterpoints to what they were saying, that would be an expected rebuttal. But you didn't. You went on a completely, oh my God, I'm such a victim. They attacked my video. They attacked my content. They attacked my claims. That's just you being extremely shallow and not even worth the flesh that you were put into. It's as simple as that.
And I mean, not to mention, this used to be something that was integrated into YouTube, video responses. When your video was specifically a response to someone else's video. That used to be part of YouTube's infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Basically, he's just bitching that anybody has anything to say about anything he said that isn't "you're great."
Oh yeah, and he's done the same thing. We did, I think, 2 shows on the Shills on a Friday or Saturday night about him, based on his Asperger's and fibromyalgia videos, and he did the same thing when he made little wah videos. He was not counterpointing any of our points because he knows he can't argue the science with us. So all he's doing is doing the wah, they're picking on me. Same thing with my video when I responded to his Asperger's and threw out the real science. And I listed in my description box the science I was quoting. And, he just can't stand up to that. So all he's going to do is whine and complain.
Well, and also in line with that, in one of his videos, he's boasting about how he's not monetized and he doesn't do it for the money, but we should be paying him because we're making money off of his content. And I just thought that was hysterical because apparently he has no idea what fair use actually is and how that all works.
And I mean, not to mention, he made a video where he literally just cut together a bunch of things we said and added nothing. He should be paying us for that video.
Exactly. No actual content about us, just cut up video.
And we've got Punchy in the room.
Rockin'.
Punchy!
Speak, man.
Hi.
What's up, Punchy?
Yeah.
Hello.
Loving it. Come to stick the boot in.
Punchy, let's hear your thoughts on VD Boy.
Oh, pardon me. Okay, sorry. I had YouTube and this open, so I got the feedback for a second. Where exactly are we right now on VD Boy's video?
Oh, we're like a minute in.
2 minutes 43 in.
And where are we at right now? Just make sure.
He's talking about
he's up to the
uncalled
point of
for
whining
started.
about how many hours we spent talking about his bullshit.
Oh, that's cute of him. I don't know exactly where he is because again I missed part of it, but I love how VD Boy just loves to bitch about the world and the women when he could just, I don't know, do this crazy thing where he, I don't know, just makes himself better, and rather than call everyone a bitch or an asshole, he maybe just, this is just myself speculating here, just makes friends with people. Why you have to hate everyone when people, like, none of us were ever mean to him to begin with. He just was a dick to begin with. And we just called him on his bullshit. And then rather than just say, hey, listen, I was wrong, he just said, oh, well, now you got Aimee Hogan, or what did he call you, Amy?
Aimee Hogan.
Aimee Hogan, yes. And then DeadKennedyInSpace was whatever he called him. What do you call you?
That was Dead Cocksucker in Space.
Dead Cocksucker, that's the one. And then with Ilya, I forget hers, but he was giving her shit. And you know what? I mean, I love all you guys. All the Shills. You're all my best friends. And pardon me for the little loving. But you're all awesome. And if he's gonna call you all out, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
All right.
Fair enough.
I can't believe.
Fuck that. So
I'm
good.
sorry. Go ahead, Punchy.
No, I was just gonna say, fuck that stupid shit. Like, maybe he doesn't understand what being a friend to someone is, but when you have friends, you're gonna stand up for your friends. That's just the way it goes.
Right.
And yeah, I don't think he understands that. And I don't even know where I'm going here.
You maybe had a few, Punchy.
Pardon me?
You maybe had a few.
No.
That started super
That was an
believable.
interesting no.
Well,
Either that or
Or-
a big fat fucking bong or something.
shall we have a little bit more of a listen?
I think
Actually,
we should. Oh, sorry.
actually,
Yeah.
that's okay. No, I buzzed in and I need to get
Yeah,
some
sorry.
comments out, and that's
go
okay.
Amy. Actually, everyone. Dick stepped away really briefly, so I'm taking over host roles here, but I don't have the buzz in,
Okay.
so just at me in the green room. Go ahead, Amy.
Sure, or just yell. No, we got we did get a super chat and a couple little things in the chat that I really liked. Res Instance for Australian $2 says it feels like 1 minute in because 1 minute 43 seconds is dead air. Yes, it is. It's just him pausing. And then got a couple comments here. The real non sequitur says he calls you guys cancel culture, yet he has deleted mine and others' comments. Ask Ilya for the receipts. Quit asking me to sprinkle them chesticles says I could totally see Virgin Boy playing with his little weenie to an open red video. And Res Instance again says VB equals vile bitch. Yep.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Are
All
we
right,
ready to
should we,
roll, folks?
Yeah, let's roll a little bit more of them.
Okay, here we go.
You know, uncalled for to get a little exercise in their lives. But anyways, tell me if you can hear me out there.
Yes, get on with it.
I hope my mic's working.
Oh God.
Fucking amateurs.
Unfortunately, it was working.
Sure it is. Oh, well.
No, I'm going to take this last little gap to say that I'm going to be stepping sort of to the side. I am actually grabbing his audio and going to cut out all of the dead air and see how short I can make it.
Okay. Let's get into it. You know,
And does he not know how to edit his videos?
there's no need to show my face in this video. I may be going live, but it's not necessarily all about that. It's about something way bigger here. And, you know, the big question here is, well, let me give you some more history. I put out this video exposing Booleanenator from the EIE network for having a really horrible attitude about people who are raped as children, people who are victimized
Paused.
as children.
Can I say one thing, please?
Go ahead, Punchy.
Why in the fucking hell does he find it okay to say that women are the devil and, you know, whatever his however he justifies it, but just for him to say women say these things that are wrong and women they're wrong in general. I don't know exactly how he describes it, but women are wrong and they're the devil, and that's fine in his mind. But the second that someone calls him out, and when Boole says, "Tell me," and this is, I think, almost exactly what he said was, "Tell me on this, or show me on this doll where your mommy touched you."
Right. Which
Now-
and that's. Go ahead.
Okay. No, good.
Well, that's what I want to point out is, fuck you, Validation Boy, and your fake fucking outrage. You're gonna sit there and act like you actually care about assault victims when your channel is dedicated to insulting, let's see, the 7 people who died in 1986 in the Challenger disaster, the 168 people who died in the Oklahoma City bombing, and the 2,900 people who died on September 11th. You're seriously going to tell me that you give a shit about people being assaulted when your entire channel is dedicated to destroying the memories of people who have died? Fuck you, you little bitch.
Thank you.
And
Couldn't have said
fuck
it
you
better
for
myself.
taking something completely out of context and turning it around and painting with broad strokes someone else to be an advocate for child molestation. You took this down a dark path that it didn't need to go down. So fuck you.
And you are saying that was Boole's intent, and it was not. You fucking asshole.
Yeah, and everybody knows that
Thank you.
child psychologists use that technique when talking to children who may have been victims of molestation. And yes, we all know that Boole was joking. What he was basically saying in that joke, and yes, it was a really dark joke, but I get it. What he was really saying in that joke is that he was suspecting that Validation Boy's opinion and beliefs about women stemmed back to something in his childhood, and was basically posing the question, were you potentially hurt somehow? Kind of like somebody being stung by a bee and then carrying that bee phobia the rest of their life. Was he intending to make fun of people who have been raped or molested? No, absolutely not. He was making a joke directly directed at Validation Boy,
Right.
about his hatred of women.
Yep. And I want to mirror your sentiment there and also remind him that today there was a conversation in your video chat with Failed at Engineering where she admitted to you that she has been through that and you shit on her. And she has been through that. So any empathy that I would have for you had it happened to you would go right out the window anyway because of the fact that you shit on someone that it really has happened to.
Well, that's good to know, Ilya, because that's solid evidence that he doesn't give a shit about
He
assault.
doesn't give a
Well,
shit.
Of course
Doesn't.
not.
I think at this point we can all agree that he does not give two shits about what anyone has gone through, whether a female or a male. He does not care. all he wants is validation for himself. Given the name, I think that we can all agree on that. But I do find it hilarious how, you know, he will say, "Oh, the Shills find, you know, in this particular case, child molestation hilarious because they made the one comment which had nothing to do with that. He took it way out of context and then he made a video with that. But then he'll talk to Goldberg Mom and say, "Oh, just go fucking have some babies. Just go, you know, just have some babies and cook some." Now the sandwich part, this is me. I'm putting that on there. I'll be the first to say it because I don't want it to be taken out of context. But he did tell you to have babies.
Yeah, he said just go have babies. No one wants to hear from your female
He's-
dumbass.
Yes,
Yeah.
he said, "Go make a baby. Nobody cares what your dumb female ass thinks." That's what he
Yes.
said.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I can pull it up right now, and I'll give you. I believe
That's exactly what he said. I'm looking at it.
Well, it's yeah, right here, verbatim.
Yeah.
Go make a baby. Nobody cares what your dumb female ass thinks.
Yeah,
Now,
and that's totally fine in his mind. But you know, when you say when Boole says this one particular thing, and he takes it out of context, that's apparently the worst thing in the world. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Now, I will disagree slightly with the sentiment that he deserves no empathy or compassion if he is a victim of some sort of assault in that vein.
Well, he's claimed he's not
Partially
already
because,
logical.
well, that's me, and partially because that's the ethical
Gotcha.
responsibilities of my profession. Every victim deserves some empathy and compassion. However, victims who react in the way that he's reacting is still going to get a public response about their socioeconomic viewpoints when it comes to people of another gender or people of other orientations.
Well,
Right,
can
and
I ask you-
I don't disagree with you, Logical. I think it was just my verbiage. You said it much more eloquently than I did because, of course, I'm always going to have empathy for someone who's gone through something, but I really, really, really don't appreciate how he's handling it. If that were the case, but he's
can I
admitted
say this?
it wasn't.
May I chime in?
Absolutely.
Validation Boy, I have very little doubt that you're not out there in the chat listening. I think this is a very personal issue for you. I think you cannot resist watching what other people say about you. I think you're obsessed with this. I think you're obsessed with your point in life that you are completely frozen at, that you're paralyzed by. It is very clear that you've been hurt very badly by somebody, and I feel very bad for you. But you need to understand that what you're feeling, all this negativity, can be turned around, and you can feel much, much better if you so choose. You just have to let go of this image of yourself that where you think you have to create this false bluster so that you can survive. Honey bunny, people want you to be happy. Total strangers want you to be happy just because you're a fellow human being. All you have to do is take the chance, put yourself out there into therapy, and figure yourself out. Make some changes. You don't have to exist like this.
You know what, Jenny? That was really well said. That kind of reminds me of has anyone seen the movie American History X?
Yes.
No, but you guys, I am going to take off now.
Okay. Well, it was
You
good to
guys-
see you, Punchy. Thanks for offering your input, buddy. We always appreciate it.
Yeah, but
Take care, Punchy.
before I leave, I will say one thing. Validation Boy, we do not hate you as a person. We hate the things you say, and we don't. Pardon me. We don't agree with what you say. As a person, though, we do value you as a person. Just for once in your life, let someone in. Stop being a douche. It's literally that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I was going to go for with the American History X analogy, because if anyone's seen that movie, it's about a
I
neo-Nazi.
love that movie.
It's a great movie. It's about a neo-Nazi who reforms after he goes to prison and experiences some things that are very antithetical to what he believes. And there's a scene in that where his teacher asks him, everything you've been doing, all this neo-Nazi stuff, all of it, has any of it made you any happier? And I'd like to ask VD Boy that question.
Yeah.
Has all of the hate that you spew made you any happier? Because I don't think it has.
And to anyone who isn't sure, that movie, what it is it literally is a skinhead who he kills a black guy. He goes to jail, and while in jail, he becomes friends with a guy who is African American or black. However, not prison. I don't care. That's up to you.
Well,
But
and
he-
not just that, but he also gets some pushback from the neo-Nazis in the prison. They don't get along with him anymore.
Exactly, because he starts off with them, but then he becomes friends with the black guy, and then after the neo-Nazis, they literally rape him in the ass.
Yeah, it gets bad. That movie gets dark.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the end message of it is hate only leads to hate. It doesn't get you any further in life. It doesn't get us any further as a society. So let go of the hate, VD Boy. Aimee, you wanted to get in here, right?
Yes, please, because I have comments and super chat to address too. Failed at engineering for New Zealand $5 says VB commented on my video that I am handicapped and an abuser instead of addressing the argument. He accused me of acting a victim and to prove that I was abused. I am so sorry, Manya. We all love you here, and I think that's horrible that he would do that to anyone. That is just ugh.
Yes.
And thank you for, that's disgusting. And then Mr. Victory says, I wish I could shoot you a super chat, but can shoot you some love. VB started a war with me. It's personal now. He went after my friends, my YouTube family, not standing for that. And then Ash Scott says, he's denying COVID-19, and that's already killed more people than all of those things put together. Resistance says, he finds it difficult to have empathy or compassion for someone who has proved that they have none for others, especially those who have gone through trauma he claims he has experienced. TD Lane says, if Vape Baloney is in the chat, then I have one thing to say. Stop. Just stop. And I agree. He just needs to cut it out. And if I may add, I can feel empathy and sympathy for him for something he may have gone through, but I can compartmentalize. And I can say that no matter what you've gone through, saying that things like autism and fibromyalgia and all of those things are fake, that makes you a piece of shit. I'm sorry. As a special needs parent, fuck you. I just, no. Yes, I did, honey. Sorry.
Drive-by matting.
Yeah, and it is about compartmentalization, just like you said, Aimee. But before I became full licensed, I did part of my internship at a state correctional facility, and dealing with the men I was dealing with who were incarcerated was an interesting experience and very, very difficult. And a lot of the men did go through a lot of childhood trauma, which is part of why they ended up in gangs, which is part of why they ended up in prison for doing the things that they did. Now, I didn't have to approve of the things that they had done to end up in prison, but I could still see them as a human being worthy of help. And hopefully with that help, it would break that revolving door cycle of reincarceration after they got out. Yeah, it's tough, and it's a high stress job, but we do have to remember that we are all human and we all make mistakes, but we can grow if we choose to grow past the bullshit mistakes. And like I've said in the past, whatever trauma you may have gone through in the past, whatever mental health diagnosis you may have at present, is no excuse for bad behavior.
Absolutely.
I would just like to also say to Validation Boy, honey, you need to understand that if you choose to reform your feelings, your behavior, your attitude, and choose to be a happy person, that all these people around you that you are attacking, who are sitting here in a chat like ours right now, saying how much they detest you and the behavior that you exhibit, every one of them is going to come around and love you. There's love out there for you. You don't have to hate as a defense. There's love waiting for you. You just have to reach out for it.
Absolutely.
It's like I've always said about flat earthers. If they ever reform and realize the earth is a globe, I'll welcome them back into the fold. I'll have conversations with them. I'll be their friend. I don't care. Aimee, I know you have a super chat you want to get.
I have 2 of them. Yep.
That last one. Do you mind if I read that out?
Absolutely.
Go ahead with the first one though.
Sure. We're from Bad Trip. He says, all I can do for tonight. Love you guys. Thank you so much, Bad Trip. We love you too. And thank you for the support. Thanks.
Yeah, and the second one was from Rez Instance for Australian 5. Thank you very much, Rez. You've been great to us tonight. And he said, fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. It's my best Yoda.
But Yoda was right.
He was. He was. Does anybody else have anything they wanna say before we get back into this here?
I want to just carry on with something that Dead Kennedy said, because I don't hate flat earthers. Sometimes I've actually had really, really nice conversations with them. It's just that I disagree with their ideas. And, I've had conversations with flat earthers where it's been a pretty nice conversation. There's actually one person, though, that was a flat earther who's no longer now a flat earther, who I had great conversations with him. We actually agreed on things that weren't to do with flat Earth. So yeah, it's not because he's a flat earther that I dislike Validation Boy. It's that he is a horrible person that has unnecessary hate.
Right. Like I could deal with someone like say Russian Vids or someone like that if they weren't just so antagonistic and hostile all the time.
Right.
And that's kind of the problem I have with VD Boy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Should we let him rant and rave a little more?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's do that.
Here we go.
Raped, molested. He has a really nonchalant, really fucked up attitude about that, apparently, according to him in his own words. Obviously, and I made a video about it. And the big question, once again, is, all the people that are part of that network, they all showed up and to defend him, to defend the fact that he was using a horrible,
spit it out,
horrible attack. Let me get into it. And they were defending him.
Pause.
And once again, I need to point out the contradiction, the bullshit that you're pulling here. You have a serious problem with this molestation joke, but you have no problem shitting on the lives of 7 people who died in 1986. You have no problem shitting on the lives of 168 people who died in the Oklahoma City bombing, and you have no problem shitting on the lives of the 3,000 people who died on 9/11.
Sorry.
Sorry?
I'm sorry. It's my fault.
And he has no problem saying that women, because they're women, shouldn't have the right to vote, shouldn't have driver's license, shouldn't have educations and jobs, and should be staying at home, being stay-at-home moms, basically barefoot and pregnant for all I can tell, because they're women. They shouldn't be allowed on TV. I mean, what does he want? Does he want to go back to the 1400s where plays when female parts were performed by men in drag? What then? Then is he going to start complaining about cross-dressing and transgenders, which is also a bullshit stance if you want to start complaining about those things? Everything that he says is so contradictory, and it's not that I hate him. I hate what he says. I hate that point of view where you have to box people in and make them conform to this stereotype. He complains about us being a cancel culture because he doesn't think like we do, but yet he wants all women to be this stereotype and all men to be this stereotype. And I think it's important at this point that is why part of why our mental health industry is so inundated people coming to us because, I can't tell you how many people sat across from me and trying to come to terms with who they are as an individual versus the stereotype their parents tried to raise them with. And no, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, straight, gay, cis, transgender. It doesn't matter. The stereotypes doesn't matter. You're more than a stereotype. There are women who want to be stay-at-home moms who have a slightly, say, old-fashioned viewpoint and personality, and that's fine if that's what works for them. And then there's women who would rather be corporate CEOs and highly educated, and they have strong opinions, and that's fine as long as they know who they are. So why stick a strong opinion woman who'd rather be educated and be a corporate CEO and keep her in the kitchen? She's going to be miserable. And then she's going to come to people like me for help. Why am I miserable? Because you're trying to conform to somebody else's stereotype of what they think you should be instead of fully living up to who you truly are.
And can I
That's
just
a really
point out
good
that
one.
there are places in the world where it is law that these stereotypes be enforced. Like there are Sharia law countries, for instance, where women have very few rights. And in those countries, you'll find things like women being executed in public for attacking their rapist. That's the society you want, VD boy. You want the society where Malala Yousafzai, an 11-year-old girl who just wanted to get an education, was shot in the head for blogging about wanting to go to school.
Yeah.
That's the society you want, VD boy? Get out.
Yeah, that's disgusting filth, man. That's disgusting filth. This human piece of vile fucking trash would literally, vocally propagate and actually, advocate for old world beliefs that we have stuffed down the fucking drain years and years ago. Like, come on, man, wake up. But I will say this, in my absence there, I was contacted by 3M and they have fulfilled my wish, my one wish in life. So they have created the body condom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap Validation Boy in a body condom and I am going to stuff him up the fucking asshole of a rhinoceros until he makes that rhinoceros come. And then we are going to save that cum to further the species. So Validation Boy, thank you for helping me save rhinoceroses. You fucking human dildo for a rhino's ass.
Oh my God.
Well,
You are the American jet monkey.
Those are the best.
That was awesome.
Well, Dick, I can make this official for you now after that glorious ripping of an new asshole. I just finished cutting out all of the dead space into his video. It went from 24 minutes to 16 minutes and 20 seconds.
So literally a quarter of his content is struggling to say something.
Yeah. But I am willing right here, right now, live on air, to reduce Validation Boy's existence down to being nothing more than the anal probe you use to make animals come so we can help further the species. That's what you are, an anal cum rod, you fucking piece of shit.
Oh man, Dick, you made me forget what I was going to say, but that was so worth it.
It's great because
It's the fucking
Dick missed all
geezer.
the parts. Dick missed all the parts where we were being slightly empathetic and saying that we don't hate Validation Boy, and then he came back with that.
Oops.
That's awesome.
Well, we believe in diversity.
Well, if you guys were reading it,
point is that the Shills have a diversity of opinion, and Validation Boy thinks we don't. We're actively
Lord.
proving him wrong.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
he is an anal cum rod.
Oh my god. I love it. Can I just jump in here real quick? We have a really good comment from Mr. Victory. He says, I made a mistake and I had my headphones off and audio through my speakers. She heard in the other room. She was asking, why is he calling Aimee and them names? She wanted to send her love too. We love you, little Miss Victory, and we're okay. He's just being rude. So thank you. We love you.
I found most of his nicknames for us quite comical, actually. Like he tried to call me logical Troglodyte, and it's like, what? That's an insult.
Yes,
You know, if I'm not
no.
gay, I'm just gonna laugh it off and say whatever. And if I am gay, I'm just gonna agree with you anyway. Whatever, dude.
Well, did anyone happen to notice a trend of homophobia in all of his names? Logical Troglodyte,
yes.
Dick Breath Dawson,
Yes.
Dead Cocksucker in Space. Got a real problem with gay people. I don't know what it is.
Can he not understand how completely immature this is? I mean, this is classic second and third grade child behavior, is to pick out
Yes.
these little bitty nicknames, just like his, I doubt and have no doubt, idol Trump does. They're just completely childish. Validation boy, up your game.
Oh yeah, that's exactly why I've questioned whether or not he suffers from an arrested emotional development. You know, what are you, 8? You know, grow the fuck up. This is not how well-adjusted adult human beings of any stripe behaves.
And then in his videos, he's like, I'm just telling the truth. No, dude, you're just complaining about things you don't like.
Oh yeah,
It ain't the truth.
The tears are dripping from his eyes like fucking runny little brown drips from the fucking anus of a very sick man. It's the same thing.
I mean,
I think that's why he's showing a black screen on this video that we're reviewing, because his eyes are all red and puffy from crying from us picking on him.
There's even a point where he talks about his content and says, I was just pointing out that women are naturally self-destructive. And this is something we all know. And I'm like, fucking no, we don't. You saying this is something we all know doesn't make it something we all know.
Citation needed. You know, I'm sorry, but he spews all this bullshit and then expects everybody to just believe it as fact when it's just his stupid opinion. No citation at all. And he says he has quote unquote statistics. I want to see them. I want to see those
statistics. You know,
and I want to see them yesterday.
Then we can pretty much all agree that the most self-destructive behavior out there in general society is addiction. And in the last few years of my career, I worked in an addiction recovery unit, and 75% of the clients there were men.
I love this guy. He is endless fodder, like literally. You know, it's if you were playing cow patty bingo, it's like having a shit square in every one of your fucking zones. You know, it's unbelievable. This guy is amazing.
I don't think his eyes are red.
If you were
and
to
puffy.
equate this guy to the insect world, he is absolutely positively the maggot, because no matter what you fucking do to that reprehensible piece of shit, it comes back for more. He is the maggot. You can slam him with a hammer. You can fucking stomp him with your heel. You can shit kick that piece of fucking vile human filth right to the corner and it bounces back. He is foreskin in the Jewish community. He is useless.
Get it.
You guys,
Well,
do you guys hear that? That's the sound of our channel being permanently demonetized.
Not
Well
that
worth
weird.
it,
So
Foreskin in the Jewish community?
that actually brings up something though, because earlier someone someone said that Validation Boy said that he hadn't gotten his, he hadn't tried to get his channel monetized or something. I don't think that YouTube would actually allow his channel to be monetized. So maybe he has tried to get his channel monetized and YouTube was just like, nah.
Yeah, don't think so. Not spreading that bollocks.
Yeah.
Well, anybody who's ever watched the Shills show knows that we don't give a rat's ass about monetization around here. Anybody who tries to say that we're doing e-begging is not listening, right? It's not working out very well.
Yeah. Well, and just back to another thing that he had said about, the whole. He had mentioned that he's not MGTOW, but it's the truth, and he watches a bunch of videos and whatever. And he keeps referring back to a book written in the late 60s or early 70s, and how that's, that should be the basis of how all women should act and everything like that. But he doesn't realize that times were very different then, and that's a very, antiquated mindset. And I feel like he's just stuck in that mindset of, the stay-at-home wife, and, that's it. So I think he definitely needs to get on board with current times.
Has he given the title of this book?
Yeah.
I think he did.
The Manipulated Man.
Yeah, that was it.
Manipulated Man.
It goes back. Oh, sorry. It goes back to its more contradictions that he does for himself as well. Is he talks about how women should be just nothing but stay-at-home moms doing the stereotype, but then he talks about how women just want babies in their bellies to be empowered over men. Does he not see the internal contradiction in his own story?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. I've never met somebody so completely blind to themselves as this guy is. He hasn't got a clue. Is a complete understatement. He is absolutely vacant when it comes to his self-assessment.
Yeah, most definitely.
He's very self-absorbed. Very self-absorbed.
Okay.
Well, you know what?
Yeah. Let's let him get on with it.
Okay. I hope I requeued it
Yeah,
to the right spot.
How about, can I get that super chat? I'm
Oh,
sorry. John Rapp gave us Australian $2. He says, "Oh, don't care. Ignore this then." Thank you so much, John Rapp.
What's great is we almost did accidentally ignore it.
Yeah, I know.
We were stalling. Like they do on movie night, we were stalling.
We don't have our alert sounds or anything. Like, we're really off our game tonight, right? So we're trying, right?
Yeah.
Just for one more small tactic. Would you like the shortened audio, because I actually got it down to 15 minutes and 24 seconds without the breaks?
Well, I was wondering, Jeff, in the VLC, do you know how to do the speed up controls?
Plus minus.
No.
Right click, playback, speed, faster, fine.
At this point, it might be easier just to keep it simple.
Yeah.
No, but it's really easy to set VLC in a little bit of a faster mode if he follows what Kevin said, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Right click on the video, go to playback, go to
Yeah,
speed, and it's there's faster, and then
got
there's faster, fine.
I got it.
I can't believe that you cut out 9 minutes of dead air.
Yeah.
9 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, literally a third.
Hold on. It's not just dead air I cut out. On my first draft, it was down to 16 minutes. I actually redid it just with truncating silence as a secondary option. It cut it down to 15:25, and it still has all the ums and breathing noises.
Oh, wow.
Oh my word.
So if you were to cut it down to the actual point of the argument, he would owe you about 7 seconds, is what you're saying, right?
No. You have no idea how many ums and okays and just him trying to pad for time that I cut out. They were there. It probably adds up to about 4 minutes on its own.
So basically, what you're telling us is that he did not pre-plan anything that he was about to say. He was just trying to do it off the cuff and did it piss poorly.
Yeah, if I was to go through this video with a fine-tooth comb and actually edit it the way an actual audio editor would do it, I could probably get it down to maybe 13 or 12 minutes.
Fucking hell. And I tried watching this fucking video earlier, right? And I got about 6 minutes in, and I even left a comment saying, "Sorry, 6.5 minutes in, your video's boring as fuck." And so I probably only watched about 12 seconds of him actually speaking then.
Yeah.
And that bored the shit out of me.
Well, I was just going to say, that's not even long enough for a monkey to jerk off. So you want him dead at this point, right? Because he just wasted your evening. You know?
Fucking listening to any of these dickheads wastes my evening. But, someone's got to deal with these absolute dicks.
Well, let speaking of absolute dicks, let's let this vile, reprehensible human piece of filth say a bit more, and then we can fucking bring out the boot of knowledge and stomp this piece of shit to the ground.
All right. Now, on the last pause, it
Crack
rolled
the
back to
fuck
the
on.
beginning, so I hope I queued it back up to the right spot. So here we go.
Will it matter? It's close enough.
True enough. Are we all ready?
Ready?
Let's give everybody.
All right, let's do this.
A horrible attack. Let me
Like
get into
9/11.
it. And they were defending him. Sorry, I'm trying to put my thoughts together and read off these notes that I said.
Notes.
They said they all said, like a knee-jerk response, "This is out of context." Okay, there's no real context other than what's being said by Booleanenator. Okay, under what context? Okay, is it okay to make fun of someone
Paused.
because?
Paused.
Okay, that's just a fucking nonsensical statement. The context doesn't matter. The context always matters.
Yes,
Always.
It does.
Yes,
At all times.
always.
Here's the thing. All right, I'm going to use an example that people in this crowd are probably not going to like. Vice President Mike Pence. People don't like him, right? He's a pretty disliked guy. There's a famous photo that goes around of him touring NASA and putting his hand on a device that clearly says "Do not touch." That makes him look pretty stupid, right? But without the context, where the guy standing next to him 15 seconds earlier said, "It's fine, go ahead and touch it," doesn't make him look quite as stupid. Context always matters. There is never a time when it doesn't.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%.
And-
I'd like to go to Logical here, or Sean Hufford. Logical, you first. Context matters. That's a massive fucking topic, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I seem to remember making a joke during a Flat Earth video review here on the Shills where, excuse me, I said something about, "Here, Flurf, show me on this teddy bear where the globe touched you." That was the same
Yes, I
exact
remember that.
freaking joke that Boole told. And Validation Boy did not slam me on that. Why? Because of the context. And I've already explained Boole's context with this. We don't need to reiterate that again. He's just playing the martyr. And I think part of the problem what we're having here is that a little over a year ago, he spouted off some bullshit at FTFE and RapidX and got real racist. Hence the "fuck you" song that they put out. And everybody in the debunking community just ignored him since then. And since I basically brought him back to the foreground with his Asperger's video, he's trying to ride our coattails back to relevance. And I'm sorry, Validation Boy, it's not gonna happen.
Logical, since you brought it up, Steaming Cup of Reason, could you cue up the song, the RapidX song, and let's play that right now. Right now.
You got it. And here she comes.
Hey, Fight the Flat Earth. What's up, man? What's up with this guy, dude? You know what? I have a message for him. So if you would be so kind to send it.
Yeah, I'll pass the message on, man.
Read the lines. Read inside your tiny mind. Now read a bit louder. Cause you're so uninspired. We're so sick and tired of all the hatred you vow for. So you say that Fight the Flat Earth's not okay. Well, I think that's just bullcrap. You're just some kind of racist. Let's all just face it. Your twisted thoughts are medieval. So fuck you very, very much. Cause I hate what you do, and I hate your crew. So please don't stay in touch. Fuck you very, very much. Cause your words don't translate, and the earth's still oblate. So please don't be a twat. Do you get a tiny dick out of being slow-minded? You want to be like the other. It's approval you're after. Well, this is not how you'll find it. Do you? Do you enjoy spreading lies which are meant to be hateful? 'Cause you're a a-hole to me. It's hurting me deeply. And it's really untasteful.
I was informed of that.
So fuck you. Fuck you very, very much. 'Cause we hate what you do. And we hate your whole crew. So please don't stay in touch. Fuck you very, very much. 'Cause your words don't translate, and the earth's still ablaze. So please don't be a twat. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You say you think we need to go to war. Well, you're fighting your own one. 'Cause it's people like you who don't have a clue. No one wants your opinion. Fuck you. Fuck you very, very much. 'Cause we hate what you do. And we hate your crew. So please don't stay in touch. Fuck you very, very much. 'Cause your words don't translate, and the earth's still ablaze. So please don't be a twat. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I don't have the context for this, but I understand the guy in the middle doing the song. That's
hold on. Jeff, do you want to go to main set? So okay, there we go. Mics are active. Go, Kevin.
So I don't have the context for that. The guy doing the song, that's Rapid X, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and he's the one who was being racisted at by VD Boy. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. I also did a song about this. We're gonna play in a second too. And what happened was it was in a text chat for one of the live streams, and Rapid X posted something, and Validation Boy commented because, oh, you're dark skinned, you must be something or other. I can't remember what it was, but it was just, it was the kind of shit you would expect to drip from a sick man's asshole, right? It's not to come from your mouth. It was disgusting, right?
That's gross. If the first thing he has to say is about the guy's skin color, like the first thing, come on.
Yeah, it was really
yet we're
bad.
the bad guys. Yeah, and yet we're the bad guys. I don't think so.
Now, some of you may not know, but I also have another channel, Canadian Thomas, where I do some parody songs and whatnot. So, Jeff, if you would, cue up the second song, and then we'll get back to the video.
This goes out to Validation Boy, the human piece of trash who came at Rapid X with his goddamn racist bullshit. Racist! That's low where you go. How low? Down like a gigolo. Once again, Rapid's songs are incredible. A rhyme animal, he's exceptional. Export for enemy number one. His songs talk truth. That's why you got one. I gotta tell you that you're a racist asshole. Validation Boy, fuck you in your mouth hole. Now you should be in a cell taking it real well in the bum until you do yell. Yes, I'm Validation Boy, big piece of shit. Talking out my ass, all this racist bullshit. Fuck off for now. Power to the people, eh? Need a miracle. X is lyrical. Facts are back, all in X's kin, check it out. X is gonna win. Racist fuck! Valley Boy! Racist fuck! Valley Boy! Don't bother with bad cause it's fucker is madder than mad at the fact validation's a racist. But bro has to know that we all stand behind Brother X with our fist held up just like a stone. Listen, you're bitching, I'm saying it's worthless, and boy, no one cares if your asshole is talking. We'll never care for the shit that you say, Validation Boy, man, is your father this way? We got to gather and say, asshole! Validation Boy, we know your way. You're gonna get it, man, shit-talking dumb motherfucker, we don't care what you got to say. Valley Boy! Racist fuck! Valley Boy! Full control, he is my brother with a heart of gold. Music for loving and laughing, we love it all, man. Making the music confusing all the flat earthers, you know, we call him magical. He's damn funny too. What you gonna do? X is not afraid of you. Asshole is what you are, your life won't take you far. Validation Boy said that race is bullshit. Shat on his own face, hating the human race. Haters for Valley Boy and his wall of shame lane. Rack is for Valley Boy, still he can take shame. Now and forever, Rapid X will stand tall. Time for me to exit, Rapid is fantastic. No one's coming at Rapid X like that without a little response from Canadian Thomas. Racist fuck! Valley Boy! Racist fuck! Valley Boy! Well, what do you think of us now, Valley Boy? Hey, Validation Boy, you racist piece of human filth. You goddamn son of a bitch, piece of shit, human trash motherfucker. This is what you get when you talk racist shit to a good human being like Rapid X, motherfucker.
All right, there we go. So a couple of songs about Validation Boy. You know, I guess you figure out, you know, how we think of him, right?
Oh, dick, man, I didn't know you could rap.
Yeah, well, I like Chuck D. I like Public Enemy. That's kind of, you know, hits home for me big time. You know, I like that stuff.
So I thought MC Toon was the worst rapper in the world.
Yeah.
No, Kennedy. You haven't heard me rap. I will not even make the attempt and hurt anybody's ears.
Right, really.
Well, like I've always said, I'm a rock and roll guitar player. I was never a singer, right? You know, but so we got that, you know, we got that out. You know, we got our let's say, did we inflate our chests and beat with our fists or whatever? You know, the alpha, you know what I mean, right? Should we go right back into some of his bullshit and get back into the attack?
Sure.
Crack
Let's see
on.
what else he's got.
All right.
When they were a helpless little child, they got raped by their parent. Now, obviously, in my video, I told you guys. I'm fortunate. I never was a victim of any of this. You know, I was raised in a completely normal 2-parent household, had siblings.
So why do you
Everything
care?
was hunky-dory. Okay, I don't have any kind of resentment because women or something happened or any of that. You know, it's just red pill knowledge. Okay. And the problem with the EIE network is that they're too dumb and too lazy to research the history.
Pause.
Go for it.
Yeah.
First off, it's pronounced I. It's an acronym, and you say it I, right? Idiot. So okay. The second is you don't have a problem with the I network in general, our channel. You have a problem with the shows that have gone after you for your unbelievable bullshit that you spew into that microphone that you actually think is a dildo that you just want to wrap your lips around and fucking go Hummer style on, right? So
I want to point out he was only halfway through a point there. He said we're too dumb to look up the history, and then there was more, and we haven't quite got there yet.
Okay, well let's get back to his point, but just his qualification to the point pissed me off, so it had to be done, right?
Fair.
Fuck him. Yeah. All right, let's go.
Of anti-feminism. And, you know, if they had even half a clue, they would understand that there's a book called The Manipulated Man by Esther Villar from the late 60s, possibly the early 70s. And this female author sets forth many of the tenets, okay, of fucking, you know, what eventually became MGTOW, what eventually manifested into MGTOW. It took her ideas and enacted them in real life. And it took
Now, I'm going to make a statement here that may be, I don't know, controversial in this community. I may lose some fans with this. I may gain some fans. I'm not sure. But here's my big problem, Validation Boy. You are thinking that the iNetwork is a hive mind and that we all think the same way. This is not true. I do not think of myself as a feminist, nor do I think of myself as left-leaning. I consider myself to be center-right, anti-political correct, and I don't consider myself a feminist because I think every ism has the potential to go too far. And so I understand your point. I get there's like a grain of validity somewhere in what he's saying, which is he doesn't like feminism. He has problems with feminism. Okay, that's fine. Speak out about your problems about feminism. Problem is, that's not what you do. You say women need to be in the home and that's it. That's not anti-feminism. You know, anti-feminism would be, say, critiquing the feminist who went on TV and said that air conditioning is sexist. That's really stupid. You'd be allowed to criticize that. But you don't do that. You say women are fat cows who need to make babies and make dinner. That's not anti-feminism. That's anti-woman.
And I want to say this. When he starts talking about this whole, oh, you're chubby, you're fat, and blah, 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 when he's talking about women, do you hear the tone of voice? Are you kidding me? You are fucking loving it. You are the kind of guy with like a 2.5, maybe 3-inch cock who would literally fuck the side of a woman's ass and you wouldn't even know that you're not even in the goddamn hole, you little slimy piece of shit. So you disgust me just by breathing the air I do. You know, right now, what you should do is walk to your goddamn bathroom, stick your head in the fucking bowl, and flush that thing. And I hope to God you haven't cleaned it in a while, you fucking little piece of shit.
And he made the statement that he was never molested as a child. He doesn't have any residual resentment, which tells me, that he doesn't. Which tells me he understood the context of Bull's joke. He understood what that was about and chose to ignore it, to take it out of context in order to play the victim. Now, and I am also very familiar with the book that he's referencing, and what he's missing in that statement is that in the late 60s and early 70s, there was a offshoot of feminism who really were getting off into the you gotta hate men and everything masculine is bad and burn your bras and all that bullshit. And part of what that book was talking about was the feminism's getting off topic. Instead of feminism empowering women, it's now saying it's now creating this rift between the sexes, which is inappropriate. And yes, she did have some older fashioned ideas and she would rather be a June Cleaver herself, and that's fine. That's who she is. But to say that is the foundation of MGTOW is ridiculous. And if you really resent strong, opinionated, educated women in the workforce, well, go find yourself a soft little submissive June Cleaver. There's plenty of them out there, and that's fine for them. And leave the other women to me, because I like strong women.
And can I point out, I'm trying to figure out how to say this quite correctly, because he's getting into some sensitive topics here. Couldn't it be argued that the origin of MGTOW and anti-feminism is every single society prior to Western feminism?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that the origin is simply a bunch of men who didn't like feminism and said, I want to go back to how things were.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It seems strange, to put all the onus on this book and say this book started the whole movement. No, the movement's always kind of been there. It's just, shifted forms throughout the centuries.
And then again, validation. Go ahead, Planner.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's kind of ironic him like being against feminism or saying that feminism is bad and that should go away, when some of the statements that he makes is the reason why feminism is still relevant today in a lot of people's minds. They'll look at to people like him and say, oh, well, men are still making these statements, so therefore we need feminism. And it's kind of like, if he stopped making those statements, and of course it's not just him, there are other people that make these statements, but it's kind of he's adding to the problem that means that a lot of people think that feminism is still relevant today.
And one thing I noticed with him is he's using feminism from the past 50, 60 years, 40, 50, 60 years to justify human existence and all the wars and everything. It's like he blames women from the time of, if you believe Adam and Eve, or the time we whatever, all the way now. It's all women's fault.
That's exactly what Dead Kennedy was just saying.
Okay.
He is not at all going after feminist topics. That's not what he's doing. He is literally just attacking women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
because there are subjects about feminism that you could talk about legitimately. You could have a debate with someone about the wage gap or abortion rights or something like that. But that's not what he does. He just says women should be in the home and make babies.
Yep. He is not anti-feminist. He is anti-woman.
Yeah,
and there's a big difference.
I missed the context, but yeah.
Yes.
There is a huge difference, and what a lot of these guys don't realize, a lot of these people, I should say, there are gray areas. I mean, even as socially inept as I am, I can see that there are gray areas in everything, and not everyone is going to believe exactly as this extreme does, and then have nothing in between, and then have the other extreme on the other end, like this idiot is. Ding. So that's what people forget. I mean, and it's amazing how many people do. Yup, someone might claim to be a feminist, but that doesn't mean they're radical. Just as someone claims that, well, I'm anti-SJW and anti-PC, but that does not mean they're radical about it. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, it's just nuance.
He might have a problem. He might have a problem with TERFs, because most people have a problem with TERFs. That's trans exclusionary radical feminist people, feminists who don't consider trans women to be women.
Right.
And so those are still quote unquote feminists. They promote feminist values, but they promote it in a different way that isn't, quite the same thing as traditional feminism.
Right. And I consider myself left leaning and a feminist. So, but I'm not radical. I go after the real topics. I support the real topics, and that's how I roll. Mm-hmm. But I don't consider myself radicalized where I'm going to be going out here acting like a fool. And I'm not a man hater by any means. I love men.
No. Well,
I think they're great.
Ilya, you one of the biggest reasons you got, clicked with us and became a Shills family member is because A, you're really opinionated, B, you're very strong about them, but C, they're based in reality.
Yes, very much so.
Right? Yeah,
yep.
And that works for us because that's what we do, I mean, I may rip this guy in one of my little rants, the worst that anybody's been ripped, but I'm not wrong. Still, you know what I mean?
Right. I think there's a time and a place for everything. And I feel like there is a time that I can be a feminist. There's a time I can be left leaning. But there's also a time I need to support my fellow brothers, especially my Shill brothers, or I need to support my dad, or just men in general, because
of course
I don't hate. Being a feminist does not equate to hating men. It equates to focusing on topics that drives equality for women. That's it. And if you're doing it any other way, you're doing it wrong.
Yes.
Right.
Validation,
and that's kind of my point. Is that like? Oh, I'm sorry, Jenny. Go ahead.
He needs to understand that unless he can define what he's talking about, his point is always going to be invalid. You just can't stand there on the street corner and blather to the clouds. You have to understand your topic. You have to understand the nuance of what you're saying. Otherwise, you're just spewing and proving yourself a fool.
Yeah, and that's exactly the problem with this type of black and white thinking that he is espousing. Even if you go back to the Stone Age, where people like to point to about gender roles, there were still those women who were equipped to go out with the men and hunt the woolly mammoth and the saber-toothed cat. There were those weaker men who preferred to stay home with the women and do the gathering part and tending to the home fire and the children. Even then, there was not black and white assigned gender roles. Those stronger women or those weaker men may have been a little bit more rare than whatever, but they were still there. And now that we have technology, your physical abilities really don't matter that much unless you're doing something like a railroad or a truck driver. And I know many women who can do those jobs, and more power to them. And there's weaker men who cannot do those jobs, and they prefer to stay in an office, or some of them prefer to be stay-at-home dads and let their women go out and earn the paycheck, whatever, and more power to them. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. Just be who you are, and quit trying to stuff everybody into this black and white box, because life doesn't work that way. Life is just variable shades of gray across the board, and it doesn't matter what you got between your legs or how you identify yourself, as long as you are comfortable in your own fucking skin.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I don't care how many inches less than me you have. You're still all right.
Yeah, but Dick, that's almost nobody.
Oh, that was too funny. You know what? Kenny Rogers passed on, but I still haven't learned when to hold them and when to fold them.
Can I point out, Logical was talking about, it hasn't always been this black and white. And I mean, there were entire cultures in antiquity that were matriarchies, because there was a period in time when we didn't understand how reproduction worked. All we knew was that sometimes women's bellies would grow and they would produce a new child. We didn't really understand the male role in that. So there were certain societies that revered women because that. They were seen as miracle workers. They could make a person appear out of nowhere, as far as we saw.
Yep. Case in point, my Cherokee ancestors, they were a matriarchal society. In fact, they were a geriatric matriarchal society where the men didn't own any property. The women did. And if I were to marry into her family, I wouldn't even have any rights to her children. Her brothers and her would be the ones raising the kids. I would be raising my nephews and nieces from the other side. My whole role in that society would be to bring home the deer leg so that those kids don't starve. And grandma and grandpa were the ones that basically took all the responsibility for most of the raising of those children, because they viewed the younger the 19 to 20 somethings as being too inexperienced to raise children. Your job, feed them. My job, teach them.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like it very
just
much.
comes down to it's never as black and white as VD Boy thinks it is. And that's kind of why I wanted to be here today. Was he has this mindset that we are all left-leaning, that we are all extreme radical feminists, that we all think the exact same way, and that's just not true.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Planner Walk, from my North American point of view, some of this, you got to put women back in the kitchen stuff. I saw this when I was a child growing up, because I was born in 1970 on television, and it even sat weird then because mom didn't sit in the kitchen. You know what I mean? So, with the culture differentiation going over to where you're from, how is this radiating to you? Like, I can only imagine that you're just like, what the fuck?
Well, it's kind of weird because there's been things which I've seen growing up. There's been some things that I didn't really see as sexist or anything. So growing up, I did hear some people say, woman can get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. And I didn't see that as sexist growing up because, and when I heard that there was a lot of sexist people, I was like, okay, how is this, something that people believe? How do people actually believe that women are less than men or anything like that? So yeah, I guess it could really be the same as you, because I have sort of seen sexism when I was growing up, but it wasn't. I guess I didn't interpret it as sexism when I was growing up. If that makes sense.
Right.
And we have DKG Custom in the house.
Yeah, DKG Custom. Now, we're talking about sexism stuff, so it's a perfect time to you to come in because you've got an older sense of what's going on in the world, and you got the UK perspective. So, who's doing,
You make me sound like an old fart.
Yeah, hey, I'm 50, man. I'm right there with you, so don't give me that shit, right?
Women, know your limits.
But we're talking about that thing where he's trying to say, get stuffed in the kitchen and blah blah blah. So your perspective growing up, you saw that when you were young, maybe. But how do you respond to it now? What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I don't think my wife knows where the kitchen is these days.
Yeah, I mean, that'll get you into trouble too.
I mean, yeah, obviously, both you and me, Dick, have seen quite a few years and a lot of change, a lot of change of perspective. I mean, it's getting very, very cerebral. I mean, normally I just turn it with my Emmy and shake it around and shut the argument up. But if you want to get thoughtful about it, help yourself.
I grew up in a home where my mom made more money than my dad, and she was the educated person, and my dad was not. And that was the 50s and 60s, and so I never had the perspective that you're talking about. Women were always equal, and in some cases beyond men.
From my perspective, mom was a stay-home mom when I was in the younger grades of school. But as soon as I got to be older, and I wasn't, needing a mom so much, she went right back to work because she just didn't want to hang around the house. And I was born in '70, so she a little bit broke the mold, but not quite. So this is why I asked the question, because to me, other people's perspectives are very much different than mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Yeah,
Dick, I had
see,
the
I
same
grew-
upbringing you did. I'm sorry, go ahead, Amy.
Oh,
that's okay. No, that's okay.
Yeah, Mom, go.
I was just gonna say my mother never worked until I hit about 13, and I'm the youngest. She's like, "What am I staying home for? Everybody's self-sufficient; they can do what they need to do." She started going back to work. When she started going back to work is where her and my dad had their issues, because he expected her to. He grew up with, a woman stays at home.
Right.
And he later on realized and that caused their divorce. But he realized later on, he said, "You know what? I was stupid."
Maybe
even he knew he was wrong.
Maybe that explains my mom's strategy, because she taught me how to cook at a very young age and how to iron and all this other crap.
Yep, me too.
And expected me to do those things until she got home.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
We had chores and yep. Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Sean Hufford, because Sean Hufford isn't the youngest man in the group either. Sean, what's your perspective on this?
Oh, well, my dad was a joking sort, and whenever he was in a crowd, he'd always say about how he's the guy that wears the pants. He's the king of his castle. But everybody who knew him knew my mom was in charge. They were partners, but she's the one that called the shots as far as what bills got paid and what money was going out. But that was their dynamic. He brought the money in, she made sure it all went to the right places so us kids would have some place to stay. So I came from a household that was very, very balanced, but my dad had an ego because of his upbringing, and everybody knew he was just full of hot air when he said it, but that's just the way it goes.
Right.
And Validation Boy is just, oh my God, it's so anti-women. It's disgusting is the only word I can think of it.
I actually forgot we were talking about him.
Well, Sean, do you find going at Validation Boy a little bit of an odd play? Because, like we usually do proper debunking. So there's an analytical argument that you can tear apart. But with him, you're going into what's driving him to behave that way. And it's a little bit of a murky place, but it is still debunkable. It's kind of strange, isn't it?
Well, it is definitely not up my wheelhouse because I'm the type that goes after arguments. I go after claims. Yeah, I can figure out somebody's. I can profile somebody pretty quickly, but he's just so self-contradictory. I'm having problems with him because he comes off to me as a complete Poe because he contradicts himself every word he says.
Yeah,
I mean, anybody who's actually got a valid belief in what they are saying doesn't contradict his like he always does. I mean, I pointed out to you tonight that was like the root of his argument, where he's contradicted the root of his argument.
Yeah, it's that backpedaling, right? Where he's always backpedaling to leave a door open, which shows you that he doesn't actually have a solid stance in the position he's taking, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's why I say, it's kind of hard to see if he's a Poe or he's just stupid, but I'm actually leaning towards Poe the more I hear him.
Yeah.
Well, I think Logical Troglodyte had, a pretty good insight on him. I mean, I think there are issues. I think there are issues going on there. There's repressed issues. There's all sorts of things going on with him. He's just not a happy little boy.
To quote King of the Hill, that boy ain't right.
Yeah, and he just wants to find. I wouldn't say a purpose, but he wants to have a voice. He wants attention.
That's a given. He definitely wants.
Yeah, it's a kind of a typical thing you do actually see with people like this, and flat earthers, and like you say, Poes. I mean, there may be a Poe, but they just really are just like sucking that attention.
Well, he does flat out say several times in what I've seen him so far in just the last 24 hours that he's literally wanting responses because it brings people to his channel. He flat out says it. I mean, this is just literally feeding into his ego, but it needs to be done.
Yeah, and that's why he's fighting with us on the iNetwork right now, because we have the Shills and the Uncalled For going at him, right, Mom? Go ahead.
Yes. What I was going to say is he sits there and says, I want the attention, but then bitches about the responses we give to him.
No, that goes back to victim complex, because he can say, look, they're all picking on me. Pay attention to me. They're all picking on me.
Right.
That's his game.
Well, I don't want to come across as rude, but I mean, this, sorry guys, this isn't exactly a huge channel. And so the response he gets back from this channel isn't a very big response.
Well, not in the grand. He might have. He has something like 16,000 subs. Only about 200 of them are active.
I will say,
when the man's been on YouTube for 5 years and he's just happy to be relevant again.
I will say this because I'm in the same boat. The EIE or the iNetwork channel, Shills, whatever you want to call it, may not have a huge subscriber base, but I can guarantee you, if you go to any stream from anybody else in the debunker community, one of the Shills pops in. Everybody knows who they are.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I understand that. Sean,
thanks for that, Sean.
Thank you.
That felt very good. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
Dick, do you need an ego rub?
No, but that was really nice. Steaming. Hold on, guys. Our producer of the night, Steaming Cup of Reason. Hold on. Our producer of the night, the guy who stepped in to make this night happen, who's never produced a fucking show on this network before. Steaming Cup of Reason, your floor, buddy. What do you got?
Thanks, man. Thanks. I was just wondering. Someone had mentioned about VD Boy having a bit of a victim complex, and I kind of agree with that, but I'd like to hear Logical's take on that.
Good call.
Well, he's like the abused child that any attention is good attention. And like Sean said, he's just happy to be relevant again. He's been ignored for the better part of a year, a little bit more since his little blow up with FDFE and RapidX. And somebody is finally giving him some attention. And when we choose to basically cut the cord there and not give him that attention anymore, sadly, he's gonna be yapping about, hey, I won. They're too afraid to address me anymore. When all it is, sometimes you just gotta quit feeding the troll.
Well, I guarantee he'll probably do about 3 or 4 videos about.
Oh yeah,
trying to get the attention back again.
Yeah.
Aimee needs the floor here for a super chat, some crowd reaction.
Yes, I'm just going to grab that super chat because you guys are having such a great conversation. So I just want to grab it, and I know it's an old one, but we've got to get it in here. It's John Rapp for $2 Australian. It says, Rapid X, you rock. V-Boy, F you very, very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a good one. John Rapp, you are the man. You're awesome. I love that guy's action. He always steps up with the best fucking chats. John Rapp, you are cool shit, buddy.
When you said it was an old super chat, I thought you were going to say, "Well, here's a super chat from 1984."
Yeah, Casey Kasem, the American
Casey
top
Kasem,
40.
right.
It was getting close.
Yeah.
That's
So,
that's how you
speaking
knew,
of-
sorry, go ahead.
So speaking of, let's play a bit of the video. Let's let it run a couple of minutes. Now we've already been on live for 2 hours, and we don't usually go much longer than that, right? So let's let a good minute or so of the video play, and let this vile, disgusting human piece of fucking filth talk for a second, and then we'll throw our wrap ups in and try to rein this into reality. What do you think, guys? Let's let the piece of shit speak.
Them to the extreme, and damn, are they effective? Okay. Now, under what context is it okay to make fun of someone because they were raped? As if that was even true. But yeah, that was their idea, and that's exactly what he was talking about. Why are we even talking about child rape? Because the context of the whole thing is that he was making a joke about, here, little boy, take this little Barbie doll and shaking it in their face, and tell me where your mommy raped you. Haha, how fucking funny, you little bitch. Show me where your mommy raped you on this fucking Barbie doll. Like, what other context is there? What other fucking context even is there? And another question, under what context, okay? Is it okay for you to say to someone, hey, I don't like your political beliefs. I think that you believe what you do because you got raped when you were a child. And that's so funny, and I'm going to wave the Barbie doll in your fucking face, There was nothing clinical or scientific about him tossing in his 2 cents and saying, haha, little fucker, show us where you got raped, ha ha ha. Like, it's just funny that, like, a kid could get raped by their parent. He's just throwing that out there. There's no real way around this for Booleanenator. And he was just mocking. Nothing clinical about it. His attitude is crystal clear. His attitude towards this entire thing is crystal clear. And the uncalled for are enabling that attitude. They're encouraging that by laughing and playing along with them.
Pause!
These women want cakes.
Fuck this piece of shit. Fuck him. Oh my God. Yeah, hit the goat.
I got the goat.
One of those SJWs that he so dislikes, being enabling,
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
That's supposed to be the SJW thing, is to criticize edgy jokes. And that's his problem now.
Yeah, and I like how he says, that's not scientific, that's not clinical. Well, Bull wasn't being scientific or clinical. He was making a joke. And he's not a clinical person. I am. You want to talk about scientific and clinical, you come to me there, dumbass. And you keep saying, the shit that you're saying, all you say is studies have shown that women, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Show me your studies. Show me
Right.
your science. Show me your clinical review of peer-reviewed science, you stupid motherfucker. Because, no, I'm not having that. Bad medicine, bad psychology is going to piss me off faster than any fucking thing else, and everybody here fucking knows it. And I will reiterate my challenge that anytime Validation Boy wants to come on a one-on-one debate with me about anything dealing with his socio-political views, anything dealing with his views on psychology and clinical counseling, I am right fucking here, and I'll debate you all day long. Understand, nobody else here will chime in, except for maybe a moderator who's going to time our responses so we can have a real fucking conversation. But bring your goddamn science, just don't bring your fucking attitude. Because you want science, I'm going to give you fucking science. Now, I don't hate you as an individual, as a human being. I personally care about you as an individual. What I hate is the bullshit that you're fucking spouting, and I will encourage you to seek some fucking help from a clinical counselor in your area, because I'm sorry, I'm not that guy. Not for you.
I got two things for you, Trug. First, did you just paraphrase Jerry Maguire? Jerry Maguire? Show me!
Well, if I did, it was inadvertent, but yeah, I guess I did.
And second, during your little moderated debate, are we going to stop the timer for his long pauses?
I don't know. We'd have to discuss that.
No, that will be up to me because I will be moderating this debate. Validation Boy, do you hear it? It's coming for you. And what are you gonna do when the network runs rampant on you?
Oh man.
You forgot that.
And Booleanenator has a good point here too. He says, how about you explain which childhood disease I should have risked by not having vaccines so I wouldn't have been autistic? I think that's getting lost in all of his bullshit too. And so that's why I'm saying what he's saying is bullshit, because it's fucking is. You know, I have. There you go. There's your drive-by matting. There he is.
That rules the world.
Exactly. He does. He's my little CEO. And you know what? Because of him, I am going to call you out, because I'm going to protect that little guy as much as I possibly will, because I'm his mother. And I will not stand for the autistic bullshit that you put out saying that autism, is something that's fake, or is a disease, or is something to be made fun of, because I will not stand for it.
So
and if you do it again, I'm going to shove it up your butt so far it's going to hurt.
Yeah, I'm going to have to update that challenge. It's going to be anything socio-political related that he believes, anything about psychology or medicine. Because believe it or not, I know a little bit about that.
Well, not just a little bit, and that's the whole thing, is he knows fuck all, and we have a damn near master of the fucking source, right?
Yep.
Now, when Aimee is going on Validation Boy about the Asperger's autism thing, we on the iNetwork are about to bring the Autism Show to this channel, and that is myself, and I am partially autistic, Aimee, and she has more than a couple issues that she brings to the table. We both have autistic children, and Boole, who is autistic, is producing the show, and it is going to be a full-on amazing celebration of everything that it is to be different. So even if you're not truly autistic, this is going to be the show for you if you're always on the outside looking in. Right?
Dick, I'm pretty sure everybody here on the panel is somewhere on the spectrum.
Well, that's the whole idea, right, DK? You know what I mean, buddy? You know,
we're all there.
Yeah, like the Shills could have been called the Misfits, and it would have been a perfect description, right? You know.
Yeah,
so
you can't do that.
Yeah, so before we close out, let's go once more back to the video, or the audio, sorry, and let this fucking foreskin in the Jewish community that just should have been left on the side of the curb and burnt with a lighter.
Before we do, can I say something about what he was saying about how Boole's comment wasn't clinical in any way?
Yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry, yeah,
No
yeah.
worries. So He's right. Boole's comment was in no way clinical. You know what else isn't clinical? Claiming female obesity is a myth. Claiming fibromyalgia is a myth. Claiming Asperger's is a myth.
Yeah.
Nothing you do is clinical, you stupid piece of shit. You're not
Yeah.
fucking qualified to speak on clinical issues. You have no clinical background. You have no clinical knowledge. Fuck you and your fucking fake outrage once again.
Yeah. Well,
it's exactly like when flat earthers come along with their scientific what do you call it, the scientific method, and they want you to use the scientific method, but their whole shtick to begin with has no scientific method whatsoever.
No science at all.
He's a complete imposter.
Yep.
Oh, good call. That was a really good way to say it. Imposter. Absolutely. Now, when we cut over to it here, why don't we cut to it one more time, let it play, and then we'll throw in our big wrap-ups, right? What do you guys say?
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Tries to come on their
So
channel
let's-
so they can, quote, make a real woman out of her.
Exactly.
And then they want to meet me or her on a, quote, neutral channel. Well, there's no such thing as a neutral channel anymore. And their suggestion is a non sequitur show. But guess what? Non sequitur is so fucking biased, it's laughable. Non sequitur is so evil because of their leftist ways. They're so fucking evil. They're like feminists, like communists. They're so fucking evil that they double cross themselves. They double cross each other and steal. And one of the guys stole the fucking channel from the other guy. So yeah, I'm not really down with Steve McRae and these other dudes and shit. And there's really no other place to appear.
I can't let him get away with that. First of all, you're like a year behind on anybody recommending you go on non sequitur because non sequitur hasn't been a thing for about a fucking year.
Yeah.
And second of all, they're all leftist, feminist, blah 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 blah. No, that was Kyle, and that was actually the reason the channel went to shit. Was because initially the platform was opinions are sacred. And then it became Kyle and the boring SJW Friends show. That's why nobody liked it. It used to be a neutral platform.
Well, and not to mention the fact anyone who's not so extreme to the right and white supremacist as this dipshit is a leftist to him. Everybody is. Doesn't matter who they. I know. Hey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It almost became the Rainbow Relief Channel, except it was supposed to be a debate of real ideas where opinions are sacred, right, Kevin?
Right. And that's kind of my problem with him saying, "Oh, I'm not down with Steve McRae in this group." That's not what Steve stands for. Steve stands for the opinions are sacred thing. He's very anti-politically correct. He's very anti-SJW. I wouldn't say he's, right-leaning or anything, but he's certainly not a raging leftist.
No.
And not only that, who decides? Sorry, who decides whether or not a channel is neutral?
Well,
It's
but
entirely
even
opinion.
beyond that, DK, this channel, this network, we are friends with Steve McRae on, I know Dead Kennedy is friends with him. I am myself, right? But if we bring a guest on our channel that Steve is fighting with, and it's like, oh my God, they're the enemy, all we would ever hear from it is, so have you got time next month to join us for a show? Yep. How about the 20th? Good. Okay, done. It wouldn't even be an issue, would it, Kevin?
No, yeah, absolutely not. And we kind of had that situation, right? We had Unirock on the show twice, and we were pretty okay with him. And when shit started to go down with him, what was our first response? To say, "Hey, Uni, come on the show and we'll talk it out."
Yeah, we tried because we had, Steve and Uni were fighting, and we had them both individually on the show. Steve made nothing of it, and Uni went psychotic. So what does that tell you, right? Some people got to grow up, man. Some people got to grow up. I don't draw my line in the sand just because you don't get along with somebody. I make my own fucking mind up.
Yeah,
asshole.
Exactly. And if not debating leftists or feminists is going to be your excuse, Validation Boy, for not debating me, I can tell you're barking up the wrong fucking tree right there. I'm smack dab in the middle politically, a little bit from the left, a little bit from the right. As far as feminism goes, I'm more old school feminism about, empowering women to be all they can be, however they define that, whatever, and that's fine. And you want to talk about there is no neutral channels, that's bullshit. You don't have the last fucking say about that. There's the great debate community, and if all else fucking fails, we can create a new goddamn channel where no one has ever fucking been on before. And the only three people that will be there is me, you, and a goddamn moderator. And you can bring every person who supports you into the live chat, and you'll still get your ass handed to you.
Yeah, and we can take this to the great debate on a few different channels because there is a few different communities for it, and we can no problem.
It doesn't even have to be GDC. He said there's no other neutral channel at all. What about modern day debate?
Yeah. Exactly. We can take this to any debate channel, man. No problem. No problem. Right, Kevin? Right? No problem.
There's plenty of neutral platforms that exist solely for people to have discussions about anything.
Yeah, and the majority of those debate channels don't have a fucking clue who I am, nor do they fucking care.
No, but they're going to learn pretty quick if you step up, Validation Boy. So come on, little Suey. Yeah!
Oh, Dick. Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
Well, you know me. It was bound to happen, right?
All I can say is, oh, Canada.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Well, Jackalope Herdmaster has a good point. He says modern day debate is too neutral, in my opinion. You cannot get more neutral than that.
No.
Right.
Like,
and
if
good
anybody
askings,
saw recently, there was a great debate between FTFE and Natalie Thompson. And all of the questions were for Natalie. And they were a lot of them were pretty hostile. And
pretty much
MDD, the host of MDD, spent the majority of the time apologizing to Nathan and saying, I'm sorry these comments are all attacking you. Do you still want me to read them anyway? And Nathan's like, yeah, sure. Like, you cannot get more neutral than that if they're going to be nice.
Exactly. Right? And we have our hooks in these communities, so we can make this happen. Step right up, bitch. Oh, okay, yeah, right. I'll shut up. I'm the wrong guy for this. Sorry.
Well, I kind of want to say. Oh, I'm sorry, Planner. Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, funnily enough, I was literally just now emailing the host to Modern Day Debates.
Nice. Nice.
There you go.
I just want to kind of put it out there as well.
Was that a PayPal claim?
What? I just want to point out to Validation Boy. I want to put this out there for him because here's my thing. I would love to speak to you about anything, VD Boy, anything at all. And since you seem to have an opinion about it, and I do as well, except I know mine's right. Would you like, VD Boy, would you like to come on my channel and debate about the legitimacy of the Challenger disaster? I would be willing to do that once in my YouTube career for you. Generally, I shut down people who even pose that conspiracy. I would love to discuss it with you. If you refuse to do so, I will consider you a Poe. That's all.
Oh, I'd love to be a moderator on that. I'd be a really shit moderator.
Hey, DK, get in fucking line, buddy.
Say Dick usually has first dibs.
Polishing your Emmy all the time, so it's okay.
I tell you what, if I was moderating on that, Kennedy, you wouldn't get a word in.
But I will say this: if that debate goes down, I'll play host moderator where I don't call fallacies or anything. All I do is make sure everybody gets equal time and gets shut down, and your debate time is respected. And then between you and what's his name? Let's just the spill that shouldn't have happened on the jerk off jar. That's what we'll call him. If he accepts to the debate, we could have a second moderator in to call fallacy and stuff. right?
Sure.
And then that way, I only get the hot-headed Dick Dawson in to respect the times, right?
Sure.
And that's fair. I'll do it for each person, right?
Oh, I really want him to accept that though, because I know exactly what happened for all 78 of those seconds, and I would love to hear about it.
Oh
Do you think?
man.
Do you think he can?
Yeah.
Do you think he's actually capable of a live discussion?
No, I don't think he
No.
is.
No, I don't either.
Because
No.
I mean, all his videos, it all seems like pre-prepared, thought out. He's stewed on it. He's sat on the shit
DK.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
DK, he's the kind of guy who could fuck up jerking off with a cam girl online. He can't get the timing right for anything, right?
DK,
I'm just
wanna
going
point
to
out-
weigh in there. I'm just going to weigh in there about being able to do a live discussion. A 24-minute video taken down to 15 minutes and 24 seconds just from taking away dead air.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think Validation Boy, is that who we're talking about? Validation Boy? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he would be every bit as good as JM Truth.
Oh, good call. Good
Yeah.
call.
DK brings up a good point, because like the only reason I ever got into any debates at all is because my videos were all very carefully scripted. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, if I can't actually do this live, then my scripts are worthless. That was like my internal opinion of it. And so I got into doing live debates and proved to myself that I could do this on the spot. And I don't think BB Boy can.
Yeah, but you call them debates. On our side, we call them destructions. But yeah, it's still the same word. Just it depends on how you look at it, right?
Well, I mean, if you want to get technical, no debate's ever been had about flat Earth, right?
No, exactly. That's the whole thing, right? Just like Monkey says, Monkey, give it to us. Come on.
Well,
There's no
there's
flat
fucking-
Earth.
There isn't one, is there? So you can't debate something that isn't fucking there.
Right?
Stupid
That's
fucking
it.
morons that believe that are just lost the plot. Half of them I don't think believe it anyway. Yeah. This fucking geezer, venereal disease bollocks boy, he's a globe-denied fuck stain as well, isn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
he's up there with that fucking Mr. Oh, not Mr. That's showing too much respect. Fuckface, that's it. Fuckface Oakley. Fuckface Oakley? I put him up there with him. I mean, the fact that this fucking imbecilic cretinous wank spanner is just completely and utterly burnt by our wonderful girls on the uncalled for. They clearly fucking triggered his fucking ass, haven't they? I mean, crying to his followers like a little bitch that's being picked on by the bigger boy in the fucking playground. No, I mean, I'm not a bully, and I'm not a fan of fucking bullies. But I really don't give a fuck about this fucking arsewipe. I mean, if he feels like he's been bullied by a few fucking girls, well, I tell you why I don't give a fuck. Because I remember when he picked on FTFE when he was first starting out, hassled him for fucking months, and even called him a Nazi and a pedo. So there you go.
There you
I was
go.
a little disappointed that he didn't give me a third grade nickname.
I'll get one for you.
Starkling one either.
Yeah, I could probably think of a few.
I did get one. I got Cy Starkling because he was
Yeah,
super
but I mean,
clever.
after the first time, he didn't even give you one at all.
I know,
dude,
disappointed.
I was just Glober, mommy. I'm like, dude, is that all you can think of for me? Come on, bring it.
Well, that's what he called his wife.
Wait, he has a wife?
Oh, that's funny.
Mother.
You must be talking
Isn't
about
that
Mrs. Palmer.
a moment? Isn't that a moment for Monty Python? He has a wife, You know what her name is?
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Incontinentious bollocks. Okay, so let's get some wrap ups in. Planner Walk. Well, you want to wrap up Validation Boy? The floor is yours. Everything, all to it. Give us what you got.
Okay, so I've got two things, right? I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's actually saying all these things really slow because he's a genius, or at least more of a genius than his audience, which isn't really saying much. So he says all these things slowly so that his audience can actually understand what he's saying. Because, I'm assuming a lot of his audience is flat earthers, so maybe that's why he's saying things slow. But I think that maybe he might be evidence that people are reincarnated. You know, because you got them old guys that are you know, that stereotypical sort of old guy that's kind of senile that will go, "Get off my lawn." I think that he might be. I think that he might be one of those people reincarnated. So yeah, maybe he might be evidence for reincarnation.
So he's Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino.
Oh, that's amazing! I
Great
love it.
movie, by the way.
Oh
a friend of mine was in that movie.
Oh,
Elvis Tao.
cool! Right on.
Friend of yours was in that movie.
A friend of mine, yeah, Elvis Tao.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
That's cool. Right on. Right on. So, DKG Custom thoughts and wrap ups. Validation Boy, he's at your feet. Unleash.
I think Validation Boy is basically just like a dog that goes running after hubcaps, and barking all the time. I think that's basically what he is. Oh, fuck him. I do have a request to Sean Hufford. I would like to see Sean do a video taking the audio clips that he's been working on and do a best of video where actually he does the reverse and takes out all the words and just puts all the spaces in between and just put that out.
Oh man,
just put that out of the video.
Oh, that'd be great. It'd be like those edited Dr. Phil episodes where nobody says anything.
or maybe just clip it. Just get the last syllable, and then there's a dead space, and then the next.
There's actually a funny story behind that because everybody's seen my intro for Anthony Riley, where I actually have him just like sitting in his room, holding up his cup, doing little circles with his hands. I actually found a video of his from a long time ago, and had to edit out every place where you could see his mouth moving, just so I could do the song "Talking Out Your Ass" again, where he was not moving his mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have done something like that, but I don't want to give Validation Boy the validation that I'm going to make a video about him.
That's awesome. Oh, too good, man. That's amazing. Glover Mom, your floor, honey.
Well, don't even know what I was going to say. Anyway, Validation Boy, if you're watching, which I know you're probably not, but you're probably going to do something with this. I have no doubt. You can kiss our butts. And, you know, if you're going to give me a name, give me something better than Glober Mommy. Come on. That's lame. Like you. But anyway,
No. Glover Mom has put lots of effort into showing what a vile piece of human trash you are. Give her the respect she deserves and give her a real name, you fucking goddamn donkey fucking moron. You know?
And Validation Boy, if you treat everybody that comes disagrees with you like me saying shut your female ass up, how do you treat your mother or your grandmother? Do you give them the same respect? Or you're an asshole to them too? Okay, I'm done.
Are you sure
Good one. Good one.
Also, VD Boy, please don't change my nickname. Dead Cocksucker in Space is awesome.
I love it.
Kind of sounds a bit like necrophilia, though.
There's an overtone of that too, isn't there?
Necrophilia is a dying art.
Oh, well, Jen Morgan, it's your floor, honey.
Jenny.
Jen Morgan, sound off. Validation Boy is your target.
DD Boy, I will be eternally proud that I was amongst the women who shredded your ass on the first show of The Uncalled For. You deserved it. You're an asshole in your behavior, but I really do believe that you're a person with potential if you decide to grab onto it and to do something with yourself. By the way, as far as the nickname goes, you can call me Granny Tranny, okay?
Did you just offer for him to masturbate with himself?
Granny Tranny, I like that. I
But
like
you know,
that.
one of the things that we know in our community that you will probably never understand or even come close is that everything you are is what you create yourself to be, and you have created yourself to be a hateful, spiteful, evil, unloved, uncared for human being that no one wants to have anything to do with you on any kind of serious level of relationship. It's sad. It's sad. It makes you bitter and it makes you worse. It feeds on itself, and there's no way out until you stop behaving that way and deciding that you want to be a friend to yourself as much as you're a friend to other people. You got to stop the hate. You got to resolve whatever that hurt is inside of you. But the potential for doing it is there. We all have it. You just have to decide to choose that. That's all, kid.
Well said. Very well said.
Perfect.
Nice. And up next, speaking of well said, Dead Kennedy, and then pass to Planner Walk when you're done. I'll be right back, buddy.
Alrighty. Well, yeah. VD boy, you're sad. That's all you are. You're sad. And it's upsetting to see someone who dislikes cancel culture so much, because I dislike cancel culture as well. I don't think anything should be shut down just because you don't like it. I hate that we get along so much on that front, yet anytime I criticize you, I'm suddenly engaging in cancel culture. This is why I want to come on a neutral platform with you. Let's debate about Challenger. We can debate about some facts. We can actually have a real discussion. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see that I'm not part of some weird demonic hive mind. Also, Jesus had long hair. Don't make fun of Dick's hair. Planner Walk, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I agree. I personally don't like calling cancel culture because I think it's existed for ages. It's basically mob mentality is what I like to call it. You know, where a whole lot of people will jump on one person. That's what I call cancel culture. But you know, I do agree. I don't think that he makes good. Well, you can say that he makes good points when he talks about cancel culture, but I think that he's getting it wrong and targeting people like yourself, saying that, oh, you're playing into cancel culture, when, you know, I don't think I've ever seen the Shills engage in cancel culture or even mob mentality.
You know, we have recommended that that his videos be reported occasionally, and I think he thinks that that's cancel culture. But it's not really. We're not telling people to do it. We're saying, if you feel so inclined, go for it.
Can I just say something? You know, I know I've had my bit, but can I just say something? It's quite. I mean, as an old man like Dick is, it's quite interesting that, you know, that there are like names to things. You know, you talk about cancel culture and stuff like that. I was in the cutting rooms at work. And there was this kid here at his skateboard, and you know, he kicked it and flipped it up into his hands, and he said, you know, that's I can't even remember what the name it was. I says, I was doing that when I was a kid, and it didn't have a fucking name. You know, just like flipping a skateboard up into your hands. It didn't have a name back then. Now it does.
Yeah.
And the modern day has names for things that really didn't exist 50 years ago.
Well,
Sorry.
they existed 50 years ago, but the names didn't exist.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There wasn't classifications for these things. They were just there. Just people did it. It's just kind of weird that like there's a name as a title given to, you know, all kinds of thoughts and concepts and people, and it's just gone. Oh, I'm gonna shut up. I'm just gonna shut up. I'm rambling like an old man again.
No, I get what you're going for. Like, it's ridiculous that the term trans-exclusionary radical feminist even exists. It's ridiculous to me that that term even exists, but it does. That's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Everything's labeled.
So, Kevin, where were we on the sign-off roundtable there? Did Planner Walk get his go?
Yep. Planner Walk, did you have anything else to say there?
I thought I'm pretty sure I was the first one to get my go though. That's why I was a little bit confused.
Maybe
Go on,
have
another go. Have another go.
Well, when I set the end list, it doesn't matter who said what before. We just go through it, and that's how it is. Otherwise, I'm fucked. Well, I'll never follow it, and the whole thing descends into chaos.
I'm trying to fucking rein in the chaos here. What we can do is we can do that classic trick. Anybody got anything else to say?
Yeah, there you go.
I have things I can throw in there.
Yeah,
let's get Sean Hufford in here.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first, let's address his cancel culture attitude.
Love it.
Cancel culture is a very distinctive term. It's where people are trying to actively get people deplatformed. Now, you'll find nobody on this platform more anti-flat Earth than me. Yet, I have never called for people to false flag a video. I have never called for people to massively thumb up or thumb down videos because I don't want them to get the exposure, because thumbing up or down does give positive exposure in the algorithm. I don't want them to be gone because then I have nothing to talk about because I enjoy flat Earth more than anything else. But to call people cancel culture because they're debunking you or discrediting your claims is absolutely absurd. That's literally just a cry for, I don't like you picking on me. You need to stop that, because the only person that looks bad in that whole situation is you. Now, I'm actually trying to give you advice, as much of a scum as you are, Validation Boy. A little bit more advice I'd like to throw out there is, when you're actually making a video, actually come up with a script, even if you're going to do it live. That way you get rid of all those dead pauses where I cut out 9 minutes of your video without even trying. It makes it very, very boring for your audience. So if you want to actually grow, don't leave those William Shatner wannabe pauses in there, because even William Shatner is cringing at your shit, dude.
Sean, you don't understand. The pauses are all an artistic choice.
Oh no, there's no artistic choice there. That's just fucking mental blanking.
Mental gymnastics. It's like musical masturbation when a guitar player doesn't know when to back off and all they do is jerk off all over the song with fucking virtuosity, right? Well, it's the same goddamn thing.
So it's that rendition of Stairway in the 70s.
I just see him during his live streams looking at his microphone like a deer in the headlights. What do I say? I can't remember what I'm supposed to say. Plan your shit out.
If VD Boy would like lessons on public speaking, I would be more than happy to accommodate him. I'm serious.
No, you just get some damn 3x5 index cards, dude. Plan it. Don't just.
I would love to see a real. I would love to see a real one-on-one. Absolutely. Let's get Sidestrike in here.
Sean, I've got to say, no, his it is written on little cards. It's just written like one word each card.
I was just about to say, don't do that. Gotta love same page.
Yeah, exactly. So let's bring Sidestrikeling in here. Your thoughts and wrap-ups.
Not a whole lot from me about wrap-ups. I mean, everybody's pretty much covered everything, but just going through his videos last night, I was making the video that I made up last night on him, and just hearing the different things that he had to say, just about the way that a good woman should be, and even just his views on the globe Earth and all that kind of stuff. It definitely, like I said, it definitely screamed Poe to me. But either way, he's messed up. I mean, he's like the laser. There's just something wrong with that laser. And there's just something wrong with him, and I don't think that obviously he's gonna have a grand time with this stream, I'm sure, and and then he's gonna go run his mouth about how he won because we won't cover him anymore. but there's just something wrong with him. And at the end of the day, I really don't care about what he says as far as, as it occurs to me or as it, is, aimed at me or anything like that, because I don't give a shit what he thinks about me. But the way that it could come off to other people or hurt other people is really what bothers me the most. I don't ever want to see anybody get hurt by somebody else, maliciously like that. And that's the problem I have with him.
Yeah, good call there too. And he's going to play that victim card, right? Because let me turn to Steaming Cup of Reason now. Everybody, Steaming Cup of Reason is a regular panel member, and he's a shill, and he's an iNetwork family member. Like, he is a core of everything we do. Now, tonight, Steaming Cup of Reason, because we had no producer for this fucking special show that we did. Boole was busy. Tatty was busy. So Steaming Cup of Reason stepped up, and we installed OBS, and we set this fucking stream up, and he has pulled it off in the background like a motherfucker, and he must be just dying to send off. So Steaming Cup of Reason, the floor is yours. Holy fuck, sound off, buddy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. All I want to say about Validation Boy and people like him, they are just a festering, putrid, fucking pus-filled pustule on the inner walls of the asshole of mankind. And they're just a fucking sack of putrid whale spunk. And as far as everything that comes out of his... As far as the fucking never-ending stream of fucking Hershey peanut bars that come out of that poop hole under his nose, all I got to say, and everybody say this with me: no, 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 no. Yeah. Now get the fuck out of here, Validation Boy. You're stinking up the joint.
I think it's worth reiterating. This is the nail in the coffin. We're not talking about this little bitch anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah,
that's correct.
That is correct.
Yeah. Now we're just teasing him like a little bitch. You know what I mean? Like, it's over.
Yeah,
there was never an intellectual argument because you, my fucking stub dick little friend, failed miserably, right?
That's right.
You brought 3 inches to an argument that is fucking measured by foot rulers. You stupid little shit.
I'm
Fuck
fucking
you, man.
I'm fucking
He
done
brought
with
one
this guy.
dick to an 8-inch vagina.
I'm
So
done. I'm done with Validation
Hello, can I
Boy.
jump in? I need
Yeah.
to jump in, please. We have a super chat. Yes, we have a super chat. That's why I'm jumping in, and that's why I'm interrupting. Sorry. Godless Scummer for £5 says, Ilya, Logical Troglodyte, and me. Are there any others he's pushed out of having a conversation with? And that is a very good question.
Yep, it is.
I'm pretty sure the first time we covered him, I offered to debate him. He never responded, but I put out this offer, and I guarantee he won't respond.
Exactly.
No,
and
we're gonna try. I want everybody watching this to realize that we are trying in the background. Like, Aimee, myself, there are some members of the iNetwork who put a lot of hours in the back, and we are really trying to bring these debates forward. Now, we have a structure for it. We really have something that we think we can bring to the community to give something different. And yes, it will be a dumpster fire, but it won't be a yelling and screaming match where people talk over each other, because we think we've got it nailed. And
yes, we do.
You know who's talking here. This is Dick Dawson talking about the Shills. So we've got DeadKennedyInSpace. We've got Logical Troglodyte, Aimee Hogan, and we will bring you something extra special, right, guys? Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I say something at the end here, too, when we're done? Because I would like to do a wrap-up as well.
I just want one sentence here. Dick, I would be happy to enrich your offer, even though I'm not an official shill. I would be happy to take this guy on if he wants to try and show that he actually knows anything about trans issues.
Well, we're going to see what he wants to talk about, and then we'll know, right? Absolutely. Sorry, Aimee. Yeah, I didn't realize I missed Aimee there. So sorry, Aimee. Go ahead, and then we'll get this done up. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, because I do have something to say, and like I had said before, you know, the reason why we're so angry with him is because of the stupid crap he spreads as lies, and also as far as the cancel culture that he claims is happening to him, I can't dumb down the freedom of speech any more than this. You say stupid crap, we can say crap back. There you go. That's what he claims is cancel culture, and it is not. It is not even an issue of freedom of speech at all. That is the government only suppressing your speech. If I say, you know, you're a dumbass for saying what you said, that's not cancel culture. It's not even touching his rights whatsoever. I'm exercising my own by saying that. So he needs to remember that as well. So, you know, and as far as he's concerned, dude, you're not even worth the bandwidth we gave you tonight, but we just did because we had to get out what we needed to say. You are a piece of garbage, and I will not talk to any of you or any of your little sycophants that go around saying that they want to beat the shit out of us. You know, dude, and the guy in the comment that said he wanted to kick our ass.
You swore again, then you swore again.
I did. Come find me. Come find me. My name is on my profile.
Yeah.
Come find me. I've also even said my fucking state, and I'm the only one in it.
Yeah. Well, you know what she's saying right then and there is step to us, bitch. We got your fucking action. You think you're cool? Step right up, because somebody on this team is gonna fucking tear you down. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this was the Shills tearing down Validation Boy for the final smackdown. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you say? We're done. Let's say goodnight. We're out of here. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. We love you all. Thank you for coming.